gentlemen, please direct your attention to the pitcher's mound for tonight's ceremonial first pitch. In honor of the 40th anniversary of the 1972 Oakland A's World Series Championship, please welcome the 72 World Series most valuable player, Gene Tenace. Mr. Tenace slammed 4 home runs and drove in 9 runs while batting .348 during the World Series. He helped Oakland capture its first of 3 consecutive World Series titles and the first professional championship of any kind for the Bay Area. Ladies and gentlemen, Gene Tenace. Tossing to Johnny Gomes. Thank you, Gene. Fans, remember to join us on Saturday, April 21st, for a special 1972 World Series Championship team reunion. Prior to the game, the A's will pay tribute to this legendary team, many of whom will be in attendance. And 10,000 fans will receive a Raleigh Finger bobblehead doll, courtesy of Comcast Sportsnet California. Tickets are available this evening up the ramp behind section 120.
But we are just moments away from first pitch. It is the home opener from the Coliseum, the A's and the Mariners. We're looking forward to a new season and good results from a young and exciting athletics team. We'll get it started when we come back.
Tonight's starting pitchers.
Some fan favorites shed their uniform whether they like it or not and disappear without even saying goodbye. But as a new season begins, new heroes replace the old, the team gels, wins become the standard, and in a flash, the past is forgotten.
We think the chemistry's right, and we have a good amount of youth. We have some experience to lead the youth, and I think it's been terrific here going through spring, and even understanding from a front office aspect, kind of the chemistry part of it. I can't say enough about the job they've done.
I expect us to surprise a lot of people. I mean, coming into this season, the expectation is low. So we can kind of come out with our backs against the wall, but we can see everything in front of us. We know what we're facing.
We're excited with what we have. We don't really follow too much about what other people say about us, because only we know what we're capable of and what we have here. Nobody else knows. So I think we're going to surprise a lot of people.
Tonight, the 2012 Oakland Athletics kick off their season at the O.co with plenty to prove. A new-shaped roster will turn some heads with their speedy, hard-nosed, and exciting style of play. It's the home opener, A's and Mariners, only on Comcast Sportsnet, California. Well, a big crowd, lots of excitement. It is the home opener at the O.co Coliseum tonight. The Seattle Mariners and the Oakland A's. It's a quick two-game series, but it should be a fun night of baseball, as baseball is indeed back in Oakland. Welcome, everybody. Along with Ray Fosse, I'm Glenn Kuiper. A's baseball here on Comcast Sportsnet, California. A's have taken the field. Brandon McCarthy will start tonight. And Ray, he started in Japan. That was the season opener, but a little better vibe tonight because you have the home fans behind you.
Well, absolutely. He did a great job in Tokyo. He went 7 innings. The most important thing to watch for him, as he did in Tokyo, 13 ground ball outs. He's not a fly ball pitcher anymore. He's a ground ball pitcher.
And he will be opposed by Jason Vargas. It's not Felix Hernandez, but certainly McCarthy, with that start in Japan, he just faced the Mariners. Right. Does he have an advantage there, or do the Mariners have an advantage?
I think simply if he's on his game, he's throwing ground balls as he did in Tokyo, it doesn't matter. I think what the A's have to look at is Jason Vargas, because he pitched very well against the A's. Fortunately for the A's, they got to the bullpen of the Mariners, but there's no doubt Brandon McCarthy has transformed himself into a very good ground ball pitcher.
And he has finished his warm-up tosses, and we are set to go tonight on a cool night, as always, here at the Coliseum. And the first pitch of the ball game, McCarthy to Sean Figgins, is a strike on the outside corner. So we are underway. 7:09 first pitch. Crowd still filing in. It's going to be very close to a sellout tonight, as the Mariners and the A's have not played baseball in 7 days, at least a real game. That was when they wrapped up the two-game series in Tokyo. They've had some exhibition baseball in between, but now it starts the grind of the 162-game schedule, and I think both locker rooms are glad that a little normalcy starts tonight.
Well, and from the Mariners standpoint, I don't know if they really think it's normal yet. These guys have yet to get up to home to Seattle. They left Phoenix. They still have about another week before they return to their home park. They will play here tonight, tomorrow night, off day Sunday, travel to Arlington, Texas, play Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, off Thursday, and then their home opener next Friday. So essentially 3 weeks from the time they left Phoenix to go to Tokyo to the time they get back home next Friday. But the A's, meantime, have been home and will have been home 2 weeks by the time they head out on the road trip.
Just a bit inside. We'll give you the full Mariners lineup in just a moment.
That's the pitch that Brandon McCarthy wants. That two-seamer fastball inside the lefties. Tomorrow night we'll see the same from Bartolo Colon. Great movement on the fastball.
Figgins rolls one into the A's dugout. Umpires tonight, the crew chief Tom Hallion will call balls and strikes. Brian Honora at first, Alfonso Marquez at second, Chad Fairchild at third. Remember, this is just a two-game series. Tonight, tomorrow night, and then the A's have Easter Sunday off. Strike three called on the outside corner, and that's how the ball game starts.
Waiting for Tom Hallion's strikeout call. It's a good one.
So Figgins strikes out. The lineup for Seattle: Figgins, Ackley, Suzuki, Smoke, Montero, Seager, Olivo, Saunders, and Ryan.
Well, Brandon McCarthy, similar to what he did in Tokyo and for Bartolo Colon, he is yet to show a curveball, which is a great pitch for him. Good cut fastball, two-seam fastball, but like to see the fact that he keeps the ball on the ground more than not. Here's a strikeout outside corner, but watch Tom High behind the plate. The home plate umpire. Watch this strikeout call, folks. Oh, that's a beauty. That's a good one. Like to see that start the season.
Ackley, a line drive, and that's going to bounce in front of Cespedes for a base hit. So Ackley has the first hit of the game. It's a line single to center field with one out, and that'll bring up Ichiro Suzuki, hitting in the third spot. Talk about that. Defensively for the Athletics tonight, Coco Crisp in left, Yoenis Cespedes in center, Josh Reddick in right. Pretty good outfield. Donaldson, Pennington, Weeks, Kaihue around the infield, and Kurt Suzuki is the catcher.
And Dustin Ackley, a solid base hit for the Mariners against McCarthy. He was accountable for the only run they scored against McCarthy, a home run to right center.
First pitch to Ichiro Suzuki is a strike.
And Cap, I think the best part about this at bat by Suzuki, we're not seeing flash bulbs. We are not seeing standing ovations. Not seeing what seemed to be as a visiting team in Tokyo, but he was the star. There's no doubt in the two-game series in Japan. And understandably so. It was his first games back to play in Tokyo after signing with the Mariners. 11 seasons. Now he's 12th as a member of the Seattle club.
Well, Kurt Suzuki, his catcher, said when he came up with all the pictures being taken, it was like there was a giant disco ball inside the Tokyo Dome.
Exactly. Matter of fact, Ichiro had to step out. It was so bright.
And Ichiro batting third is probably the biggest story coming into this season for Seattle. He always liked to hit first. I think he balked at hitting third in times in years before, but this year he decided to do it, giving Sean Figgins a chance to go back to that leadoff spot. So we'll see how Ichiro does in that third spot. And that pitch right there for strike 2 and 2.
Yeah,
it's not a lineup that has a lot of power, but I think he could drive in a lot of runs from that third spot.
Well, and as Eric Wedge said, that he had a couple of conversations with Ichiro in the offseason. There's Eric in second year with the Mariners after a very good tenure with the Cleveland Indians. And Raymond standing next to him as always, try to get on camera. But the thing about Eric Wedge, he said, I knew I had to talk to him because I just did not want him to show up in spring training, insert him in third place in the lineup. So there's a lot of conversation, and Ichiro said, whatever's best for the team, I'm going to do it.
We had a 4-hit game in Tokyo. He was 4 for 9 in the 2 games. 2 and 2 the count. Pretty good lead for Ackley at first. He's not running, and the pitch is on the inside corner. Strike 3 called.
Brandon McCarthy doing something that a lot of pitchers don't do, and that's striking out each. Look at the two-seamer coming back, and that's exactly what he wants. That ball's going to come right back on the corner, according to Tom Hallion, and that is a tremendous pitch because you freeze more hitters than not with that type of movement, especially righty throwing to lefty and lefty throwing to righty. And again, the Mariners are going to see the same tomorrow night from Bartolo Colon as they are seeing tonight. Remarkably, McCarthy and Colon, 15 innings between the two of them in the first 2 games.
First pitch, breaking ball, and a good one in for a strike to Justin Smoke, hitting in the cleanup spot for the Mariners. He had 1 hit, and that was a home run in Tokyo. The Mariners really need this guy to become a middle of the order threat if they want to continue their rebuilding and get to the next level. He was part of the Cliff Lee trade. Justin Smoke, he's a switch hitter.
And you think about where Cliff Lee is now. He went to Texas, then signed with the Phillies. So I thought the Mariners at the time did very well in trading Lee, and getting Justin Smoke is just one part of that deal. And he's going to be a star for a long time.
Ackley takes off. The ball's bounced toward Weeks. Weeks gives ground. Flips to first side, retired. A hit and a runner left. We are headed to the bottom of the first. Home opener from the Coliseum. No score. Brought to you by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. The admission-free boardwalk is open for spring break now through April 15. 55 degrees, cool night. 15 degrees on the wind gust, so it's a breezy night. And this time of year, it's going to be chilly. So as the night goes on, we'll probably dip into the high 40s, but that's okay.
I thought you were going to mention dip into the heavy coats.
Well, that will happen too, yes. One leads to the other. Jamal Weeks to lead it off against Jason Vargas, the left-hander.
Vargas did a very good job against the A's, and keep talking about Vargas. Of course, it was Felix Hernandez who started the first game, but Vargas started the second game, and here we are, games 3 and 4, same two starters, just reversed.
Well, Vargas had 6 shutout innings going in that game in Tokyo, and then he walked somebody in the 7th inning. Came out, and Cespedes hit the home run off Kelly. Vargas pitched very well, but got a no decision. That one bounced up the middle. Diving by Ackley, can't get it, and Weeks is aboard with a leadoff single. A good start for the A's here in the bottom of the first. Weeks with the leadoff single. He'll be followed by another switch hitter, Coco Crisp. Josh Reddick is hitting third tonight. That's a big story. Johnny Gomes, the DH. Cespedes in center. Suzuki, the catcher. Donaldson at third. Kayahue at first. And Pennington in the 9th spot.
For Vargas, the numbers for him in 2010, he was a very good pitcher and strikeouts, and of course he finished the season very strongly, and he finished against the A's with a 10 strikeout performance, but an off-speed pitcher. You have to stay back, think opposite field with him. Jamal Weeks' first hit of this opener here in Oakland. He got a hit off Felix Hernandez in his first game, first at bat in Tokyo. Let's hope this is not what's going to happen. Get a hit in the first at bat in home opener as he did in Tokyo, and then he went over. But he's going to have a great season for the A's. Great talent.
Grounded towards short, could be 2, 1, 2, double play. Ryan was playing maybe even a little more shallow than most shortstops with the speed of Crisp, and the ball was hit right to him and turned out to be a fairly easy double play. 6-4-3. Defensively behind Vargas tonight, Figgins, Saunders, Suzuki. Outfield, Seager, Ryan, Ackley, Smoke. Infield, Miguel Olivo is the catcher. So 2 outs for Josh Reddick. Josh Reddick hitting in the 3rd spot tonight, even though the left-hander is pitching. So Bob Melvin must have liked the swings he has seen from Reddick. I think we all like the swings we've seen from Reddick.
Well, I think it's been impressive. He hit a home run off George Sherrill, the lefty on the Mariners bullpen. That was in Tokyo, and of course he's been swinging the bat well. And I think what Bob Melvin's trying to do is establish some sort of consistency with his lineup, especially in the middle part of the lineup. Against Matt Cain in the Bay Bridge series, the game played here at the Coliseum. Another curveball, this one a no-doubter. Ball coming into a swing. Didn't bother Matt Cain, though.
3-1 now to Reddick. Johnny Gomes would be next. Just underway from the Coliseum. Drops in first strike. 3-2. Reddick with a couple of hits in that series in Tokyo, 2 for 7. Ray mentioned the home run. He also had a double. Looped toward left. Shallow. Figgins can't get it, and it drops in for a hit. So a 2-out single for Reddick. He's have another base runner.
A good job protecting, ball inside and just shot it out to left field. And sometimes when you have the count in your favor, you can gear it up a little bit and try to pull the ball. But see the nice inside out swing. Of course, remember he played for the Red Sox. He had that short left field green monster at Fenway. I think he wishes he would have had it against Felix Hernandez to start the season. A couple of shots he had to left field looked like he had a chance, but they died at the warning track. But would have been up on the green monster in Boston.
Strike at the knees to Johnny Gomes, who homered in Tokyo.
Took about a a fun-loving guy.
See you. Enjoying this. Petaluma's probably got a big pass list tonight. Skies this one. Foul territory down the left field line and into the seats. You just never know here at the Coliseum.
Johnny finished his exhibition season with a powerful note. Just pull the hands in. Of course, he will hit predominantly against lefties, but in the game over in San Francisco Wednesday, it was against the righties. And you talk about some buggy with some real strong swings against the righties. His comment after the game was, "And I can't hit righties."
Behind in the count here, 0-2. Shoots that one foul.
Watch the move of Jason Vargas. And it's a move that he really doesn't have to throw to first that much because he automatically looks like he's throwing to first. Pushes the runner back, keeps him close at least. It reminds me of great pitchers in the '72 World Series, and for the A's, Kenny Holtzman, a lefty that always looks like he's throwing to first, and you get the runner heading back to the bag.
And he gets a strikeout of Johnny Gomes. A couple of hits for the A's, but they do not score. We're through one at the Coliseum. No score. No score, top of the second inning. Brandon McCarthy goes back to work. He gave up a hit in the first inning, had a couple of strikeouts. He'll face Montero, Seager, and Olivo. Jesus Montero. Big things expected from this young man. You don't trade Michael Pineda unless you feel pretty good about the guy you're getting back. And I think the Mariners feel pretty good about Montero. They desperately needed an offensive force, and they think he is going to be an offensive force, and I think they may be right. Just 22 years old. Maybe the only question, Ray, is, and this is not me talking, it's really what you read from the scouts, is can he be an everyday catcher at the major league level?
Probably in due time.
In due time.
If they want him to. I think that's the biggest question.
Pennington gobbles it up. His throw is in time. Montero's retired.
By purchasing an A's season ticket plan, you'll lock in the lowest price on tickets. A's season tickets allow you the flexibility to customize your own plan. Choose premium games when the A's take on the Giants, Red Sox, and Yankees, or go for some of the season's fantastic promotional dates like our popular fireworks games. Lock in and save today. For more information, call 510-638-GO-A's or visit oaklandathletics.com/season tickets. Okay, one of the things about Montero, and I'm not surprised that the Yankees trade him. He was a top prospect. But the Yankees always want a veteran catcher. And Montero, being a rookie, it was going to be tough to put him in there. So, yes, the Mariners needed offense. The Yankees need the pitching. Pineda started the season on DL, but he's a great pitcher. So youth for youth, pitcher for catcher. But one of the things that Eric Wedge said about Olivo, he's a major league catcher. Great to have him. Jeff Datz working with Montero on a daily basis to try to make him a major league catcher. But
so you give up a good young pitcher, obviously Pineda, and he's on the DL right now, but it looks like he's going to be pretty good. But the Mariners will tell you they have 3 top pitching prospects, and they're all going to start the season in Double-A. And from what everybody says, they all have a chance to be above average major league pitchers. So maybe they felt like they could afford to trade Pineda because they have 3 guys in their system.
Well, I think your point is well taken because they have a lot of pitching, and that's the key, because it enabled them to take a major league pitcher in Pineda, send him to the Yankees, and the Yankees, if they were going to get somebody of the caliber of Pineda, they were going to have to give up Montero. Somebody as good as Montero is now and is going to be. But I think the beauty for him is that he can DH with Olivo as a catcher. They have John Jaso as another catcher, so you know they're well taken care of in catching department.
2-2 the count to Kyle Seager, the young third baseman,
who, because of Mike Carp's injury in the opener on the disabled list, Figgins in left field and Seager playing.
A jam shot just gets over the head of Cliff Pennington, so a 1-out single for Seager.
Well, 2 quick strikes and then just an inside out swing, and Cliff Pennington, great jumping ability, but just timed it and could not get up high enough. Great effort, great vertical leap. So watching him do that is thinking of Cespedes and his leaping.
Well, according to the YouTube video, he would have caught that.
He would have caught that. It maybe hit him in the chest.
But Ray, you were talking about Mike Carp, who he's one of the middle of the lineup hitters for the Mariners, but in that first game in Tokyo, he dove for a ball and he hurt himself. And he is on the disabled list, hurt his right shoulder a little bit.
Yeah, that was early in the game. He stayed in the game, but I think it was Suzuki's ball that hooked away from him. The only run the A's scored, and the double by Suzuki.
So Carp is going to be out for a little bit. And don't forget, the Mariners also without their center fielder Franklin Gutierrez, who has just had all kinds of injury issues the last year or so. But they do expect to get those 2 guys back maybe sometime in the next 2 or 3 weeks. So really the Mariners are without 2 of their starting position players, Mike Carp and Franklin Gutierrez. 0-2 to Miguel Olivo, who was 1 for 7 in Japan.
Olivo, as we have seen, his time playing with the Mariners, he is one that loves to swing.
Let her go.
And the first pitch that he saw in the 2012 season, he took just like he was going to be a different player, then it stopped. Tonight, first pitch, because McCarthy has been perfect. 7 batters, 7 first pitch strikes. So when that happens, not surprising that hitters will go up against a guy who throws strikes around the strike zone. He's swinging early.
Well, Olivo last year, 19 home runs. He's got some power. 20 walks, 140 strikeouts. And he hit .224. But he does have pretty good power.
And to lead a ball club as a catcher in home runs and runs batted in, which he did last year. The aggressiveness really pays off a lot of times, because you almost rather see the aggressiveness even if you strike out and make outs. But you can do something, and there's the strikeout fortune.
And that is number 3 for McCarthy. First 2 were looking. This one is swinging.
Look at the ball run against him. And a little cut fastball out of the strike zone, but it looked so good. It's there, and then it's out. It's gone. But cut fastball, a very good pitch for a lot of pitchers, and McCarthy has developed a very good one.
2 outs, and here's Michael Saunders. Big, tall, left-handed hitter playing in center field. He's in the lineup. First 2 games in Japan, went 1 for 6. Hitting in the 8th spot. Oof. Is that a cross-up?
No, it's a check swing.
Oh, it got a little of the bat. Huh?
Yeah, just enough of the bat to get the most of Suzuki. Saunders starts his swing, and it looked like a cross-up, but it did touch the bat and change direction. And let's see where Suzuki gets it. Not where you want to talk about. Catching is great.
Yeah.
Those shots are not.
So 0-2 to Saunders with Brendan Ryan in the on-deck circle. Seager the runner at first. And that one's hit hard, but it's just foul. .32 pitches so far for McCarthy.
So Vargas trying to stay loose, and of course in the Tokyo Dome he didn't have to do that. A little bit cooler tonight here outdoors, but a beautiful night.
Runner goes, ball's bounced to Weeks. He flips to who got back there? Kaiahui did get back after going for the ball, turned around, got back to the bag. Nice play all around, and McCarthy gets out of it. No runs scored. Bottom of the 2nd coming up. No score, bottom of the 2nd. Yoenis Cespedes to lead it off for the A's. He'll be followed by Suzuki and Donaldson. So Cespedes, well, for the first time in a real game, playing in front of the great A's fans here at the Coliseum. So probably, well, a thrill for both sides, for him and the fans to see him. Yoenis Cespedes.
Well, the one thing about Cespedes, and nice to see him aggressively swinging at the first pitch, even though it's a pretty good changeup from Vargas, but he has just been reacting. He doesn't know a lot about the opposing pitchers, although seeing Vargas for the 2nd time. But just watching him, as he did against Kelly when he hit his first major league home run, he took a hanging slider. And you say, well, you'd like to see hitters swing at it. Then he did swing at the next one. That's when he hit the 2-run home run.
That one chopped toward Mike Gallego. 2-2 the count.
I think what the fans are going to be impressed in the ability that Cespedes has. He is a true, no doubt, 5-tool player. He can hit with power, run, throw, I mean, he can do it all. And the running part is impressive. His arm is impressive. And when he gets into one, that's real impressive.
That one hit toward right center, but playable. Ichiro has got it, and that's out number 1.
Well, one thing the A's have been concentrating on, defense, and here's a pretty good play. Kahui going for the ball. He misses it. Weeks gets it, but watch Kahui. He wants to get back quickly. Vargas or McCarthy's there. Semi-collision with Saunders coming down the line, but Kahui with a nice toss from Jamal Weeks got to the bag in enough time to make the put out. And, you know, there's nothing against pitchers, but anytime an infielder, in this case a first baseman, can get to the bag, you want to try to keep the pitcher out of it, but McCarthy was right there.
Well, if the A's are going to make any noise this year, they have to play better defense.
Yeah.
It's still hard to believe, but they made the most errors in the American League last year, 124. And we talked about it last year, Ray. We talked about it during our exhibition telecast in Arizona. You just feel like, even last year, there was too many good defensive players on the field for them to make that many errors.
Exactly.
But they did. Foul territory, Smoke a long run, and he's got it right in front of his dugout. He'll get some help there, and he does for out number 2. But it's going to be a team, Ray, that probably does not have a big margin for error, no pun intended, so they will have to catch the ball, pitch well, and do what you got to do to just score enough runs.
That unearned run department, usually you make errors, you put extra runners on base, and that is one of the problems because it hurts your team especially, but your pitching staff. And when you have ground ball pitchers, which the A's seem to have quite a few, the infielders are going to be busy.
And I think, too, it's even more important in the American League because better lineups in the American League, an extra hitter in the American League.
Oh, yeah.
And there's so many good lineups now. Give these good lineups an extra at-bat or 2. It's probably going to hurt you. Vargas has it, and he's going to have a very nice inning. He gets Cespedes, Suzuki, and Donaldson. We are through 2. No score. Top of the 3rd inning, so Brandon McCarthy will face Ryan, Figgins, and Ackley. Some notes on McCarthy from his terrific season of 2011. Just does not walk people. 25 total walks in 170 innings. The strikeout to walk ratio, a franchise record. So he's a strike thrower, but most of those strikes are quality strikes, and that's the difference. So Brandon McCarthy, 25 starts last year, 5 complete games, an ERA of 3.32. And let's not forget, he spent some time on the disabled list. If he could have stayed healthy, he would have got to 200 innings. But he was on the disabled list from May 20th through July 3rd.
Well, amazingly, it is extremely hard to be one type of pitcher, especially at the major league level, and he was a fly ball pitcher, to change his delivery to become a ground ball pitcher and to help his shoulder as well.
Just a bit high to Ryan, 3-0.
Just talking about his walks, this is the first batter of the 90s face that he has not started with a strike, and as it turned out, he's 3-0.
That went down around the knees for a strike. Ryan was 1 for 7 in the 2-game series last week. Driven left center, nets hit well. Cespedes on the run, and he is not going to get it. Plays it off the wall, gets it back in quickly, and it's going to be a leadoff double for Brendan Ryan, and that's how the top of the third gets underway.
Well, he did it in Tokyo. Unfortunately for the A's, that was in the 11th inning. Got the count, really not necessarily in his favor. This one, McCarthy left the ball up. If he had thrown the same pitch 3-1 that he threw 3-0 with a good sinking action, probably would have gotten the ground ball, but this ball was elevated, and Ryan, as he did in game 1 in the 11th inning, hit a double left center and eventually came around to score the go-ahead run, and the Mariners beat the A's in 11.
Top of the order, and Sean Figgins, who struck out looking in the first inning. So the first scoring opportunity for the Mariners. Figgins shows bunt and takes way inside. Figgins playing left field tonight. In the series in Japan, he played third base in game 1. He played left field in game 2. Again, shows bunt, and it's a good one. Donaldson throws to first, and there's a collision at first, and the ball gets knocked away. So does the glove of Weeks. Wow. And everybody's going to be safe, and that is scary. So as the ball rolled away from Weeks, that allowed Brendan Ryan to come all the way around and score.
Well, this is so dangerous because of the throw right into the runner, and Weeks actually it hit the runner in the back, and Weeks went down, but very quickly to recover, trying to get the ball in time to throw at Ryan. Josh Donaldson had a similar play in the exhibition, a tough play because it's tough to simulate. Remember, he was a catcher, did play third base in Auburn. And the ball during the exhibition against the Giants, he overthrew the ball, but this time ball sailed into the runner.
So Weeks, you're right, never had a chance to catch it. It's going to be an error on the third baseman.
Higgins will get a sacrifice, though, which is a good bunt, and he just trying to advance the runner.
Well, they have to give him a sacrifice.
Yeah, right, exactly.
They haven't done that yet, but Figgins is at first and a run is in. So the Mariners with a 1-0 lead. Ackley had a base hit in the first inning, so he's now 3 for 10 on the season. Swing and a miss. Keep an eye on Figgins. Of course, when he was with the Angels, he was a premier base stealer.
No doubt Sean Figgins, who is lighter, lost a lot of weight, had a hip problem last year, only 81 games, but he's happy, especially to be back hitting leadoff.
Right field base hit. Figgins is going to try for third. Reddick's throw is just a bit late, and Ackley has his second hit, and the Mariners have first and third, nobody out with a run in.
Well, that's one of the differences in a ground ball pitcher. You get the ground ball, but location should have been away, was inside, and just out of the reach of Jamal Weeks. And Sean Figgins, even with a very good arm by Josh Reddick, going to third easily. That's what more runners should do. First and third, especially with the ball to right field. Sometimes Ichiro would stop a few guys from doing that.
Yeah. RBI opportunity for Ichiro. Struck out looking in the first. McCarthy got him with a fastball in the inside corner. Bounced foul.
Sean Figgins knew the ball was in right field. He knew that he should do exactly what he did, first to third.
How many times did we see Sean Figgins do that in an Angels uniform? Right there.
Well, that's where you learned it, because that's the only team I ever saw. It's in the stat pack. They showed exactly how many times runners went first to third. Wow. I think they probably set the example for all of baseball. That's something they start at the minor league level. The importance of taking the extra base, and you know, if it's first and second, a ground ball, double play, he's only at third. Double play now, which the A's are trying to get. Run but score.
You know what? And even if you get thrown out, so Ackley's at first with one out,
or he may even go to second on the throw if it's. But you just have to be aggressive. And as you mentioned earlier, Mariners do not have a lot of offense and a lot of power, put it that way. But you know, they have to do the little things just like the A's do.
That one rolls away from Suzuki, and it's going to allow Ackley to get to second.
Just enough movement off the glove of Kurt Suzuki, and that's probably going to be a passed ball.
See if it hit the ground.
No,
it did not.
Just hit his glove, and it's going to be a passed ball. That might have been just enough movement that it's dropped out of just below the webbing of Suzuki's catcher's mitt.
So Figgins at third, Ackley at second, and Ichiro in a hitter's count, 3-1. Of course, every count is probably a hitter's count for Ichiro Suzuki.
Yes.
Justin Smoke, a switch hitter, is in the on-deck circle. Just a bit low, but a pretty good pitch by McCarthy. Doesn't get the call. And now the bases are loaded. Nobody out. Here's our Farmers Insurance Report Card. It has to do with ground ball percentage for Brandon McCarthy. Look at the difference between 05 to 09 when, as you just said, Ray, he was a fly ball guy. But he changed his delivery, worked hard, and now more of a sinker ground ball type guy. And it shows up certainly on the stat sheet as well. He needs a ground ball here.
He needs it back to the pitcher. He needs it to himself, and he can do the 1-2-3 double play. But amazingly, 8 batters for Brandon McCarthy, but 33 pitches, 8 batters, 8 first pitch strikes, and the 9th place hitter this inning, he goes 3-0. And he's probably as frustrated as anybody. But the A's would gladly take a ground ball, give up a run to get 2 outs, and try to get out of the inning just giving up 1 run.
Smoke grounded out in the first inning. Big swing and a miss at a breaking ball, and he missed it.
It was a high breaking ball, and Justin Smoke is not interested in a ground ball double play or anything other than trying to get more than just a couple of runs.
You got a fastball that time. Rolls it foul. So McCarthy ahead in the count 0-2. Montero, right-handed hitter, is in the on-deck circle.
Well, let's give the best case scenario. How about a strikeout, then a double play?
Figgins at third, Ackley at second, and Ichiro at first. So very, very good speed on the bases for Seattle. Suzuki sets up for a high fastball. McCarthy throws it there. Smoke does not chase it. 1-2 the count. A double, an error, a single, and a walk so far here in the third inning. Another breaking ball, and again rolled foul. 53 pitches. Now ready for McCarthy. The pitch count maybe a little higher than he would like. 20 of those in this inning alone, and he has yet to get an out. Skied left field. Coco, Crisp, and Cespedes come together. Cespedes calls everybody off. He's got it. And Figgins doesn't go. And Cespedes, when he was making the exchange, dropped the ball. But Figgins didn't go.
And the reason he didn't go was because Cespedes called him off. If Coco had caught the ball, he was going to run. Cespedes did a great job cutting in front, calling it, because he has a stronger arm. And that's exactly the reason that I think Sean Figgins, with nobody out, was not going to run. And here's the transfer. He has a big glove, and transfer was there. I would love to have seen him transfer the ball and Figgins go, because he has a cannon for an arm. But Jeff Datz realized, and Figgins did as well, that it was Cespedes, and it wasn't really that deep of a fly ball. If Cespedes is the one catching it, definitely should not have been going. I get the double play and get out of the inning.
Montero shoots one to right field. Reddick on the move. He's got it. Figgins is going to try this time, and the ball is dropped again on the exchange, and it's called an out again. It's a sacrifice fly, and the Mariners will have a 2-0 lead. But you don't see that hardly ever. We just saw it on 2 consecutive plays. But it's an out nonetheless, and an RBI for Montero.
Well, he has a strong arm. He was thinking about throwing to the plate. But I picked up Cespedes' glove yesterday to work out. It's big. I mean, the outfielders are allowed to have a much bigger glove. Longer, if you will, as far as the webbing. But you kind of get lost in there. When you try to transfer, the ball can move around, and it did it with Cespedes and now with Reddick, back to back, and very surprising.
Kyle Seager steps in. Ichiro takes off, and he will steal it without a throw.
Yeah, that's about as easy as stolen base you'll ever get.
Yep. So second and third with 2 outs. But speaking of glove size, there used to be a limit on how large an outfielder's glove could be, and I think there still is.
Yeah, as Coco said when he walked by, he says that centimeter, they get right to what you're allowed to have.
Up the middle, and that's going to hurt. 1 run's going to score, 2 runs are going to score, and Seager gets a 2-out, 2-run single, and it's 4-0.
Well, another ground ball, but unfortunately for the A's, McCarthy had found the hole. And there's the stolen base. Of course, it was going to be an easy one for Ichiro, and then Seager. He is 2 for 2. And a big one that really hurts, because if McCarthy could have gotten out of the inning with just 1 run given up, and it just doubled it with that 1 swing.
So 8th man to hit in the inning steps in. It's Miguel Olivo. So 4 runs on 3 hits, a walk, an error, sacrifice fly. Olivo struck out swinging in the 2nd inning. Outfield straightaway, fairly deep for Olivo. Close pitch, missed outside, 1-0. Shallow left field, Pennington out. He's got it side retired. 4 runs for the Mariners. Bottom of the 3rd coming up, 4-0 Seattle. Comcast Sportsnet California is brought to you by Cache Creek Casino Resort. Swing away for big league cash only at Cache Creek. Visit cachecreek.com for details. So the A's have dug themselves a hole. It's 4-0. That's the bad news. The good news is it's only the bottom of the third, so they have some time. So the Mariners scored 4 runs total in the 2 games in Tokyo, and they just scored that same amount in 1 inning off Brandon McCarthy.
Well, we were just talking about the unearned runs because of the errors last year, and the eye tells us that of the 4, only 1 was earned. So there's 3 in 1 inning.
Kia Kaiahue to lead it off. Vargas has allowed a couple of hits, 1 strikeout through the first 2 innings.
Vargas did not get a lot of run support last year, and in this first game, you mentioned he left after walking a batter in the 7th inning. But again, the A's going to the lineup, they know what he features, and it's really not that much of a fastball. A lot of off-speed pitches. How about that? 2 or fewer.
Well, he's really become a pretty reliable starter. It's his 3rd full year in the rotation for the Mariners. 2010, 102 innings pitched, 192 innings pitched, I should say. And then last year, he went over the 200 inning mark. He may not be a #1 starter, but pretty solid 3, 4, maybe 5. Well, continue watching tonight after A's postgame live as Kate Longworth and our Comcast Sportsnet crew travel to Japan with the Athletics. The team toured the city of Tokyo and tried their hand at some karaoke. That's what it seemed. Visited a U.S. Air Force base for a baseball clinic and traveled to the tsunami-ravaged areas of the country. It's A's The Tokyo Experience tonight, right after A's postgame live. So that's good stuff. So plenty to watch tonight. Not only the game, but after the game. So keep it right here at Comcast Sportsnet California. But we were talking about Vargas. No, we're not saying he couldn't become an ace, but he's probably a legitimate number 3, 4 starter. 29 years old.
Right now he's number 2 behind King Felix. Pineda was in that slot last year when he came up out of spring training, rookie phenom.
Right back to Vargas. Steps and throws, and Pennington is retired. So that'll bring up Jabal Weeks. Well, the rest of that Mariners rotation, well, it has some interesting names in it. Of course, Felix Hernandez will pitch tomorrow night. And then Mariners do not play Sunday. And then they head to Texas on Monday. Hector Noesi is going to start on Monday, and he is one of the players that they got for Michael Pineda from the Yankees. So Noesi, who was a reliever with the Yankees last year, is in the Mariners rotation. And Blake Bevan, who we've seen, will pitch Tuesday. And then Kevin Millwood. Yeah. There's Hector Noesi, but Kevin Millwood is scheduled to start on Wednesday in Texas. They signed Kevin Millwood to a minor league deal, and at least to start the season, he's going to be in the rotation.
That's spend the extra week in Arizona. He did not travel with the team to Japan. But yeah, he goes back to a place where he actually signed a big contract after 1 year in Cleveland, winning the American League earned run title. Signed a 5-year contract with the Rangers.
That one's picked up fair, and Weeks is going to be safe.
And
they call it foul.
Yeah,
yes, they did. So Weeks is going to keep running, but umpires are holding their hands up, and it looked like it was foul at home plate, and then it took a big bounce toward the line.
Well, the question is, if it hit the hitter, it's a foul. Now, Bob Melvin's going to ask, because if it hit behind home plate, did not touch the batter, and stays fair. Yeah, he's saying, you're all the way down there. How could you see it? It's Brian O'Nora.
So what you're saying, Ray, is You think Brian Honora called it foul?
Well, he definitely called it foul.
Even though he's the first base umpire.
That did not hit his foot. It did not hit his foot. That spun, and I think he had to have said it hit his foot. See if it hits his front foot. It looked like he rolled his foot, and it missed it. And if that's the case, it's a fair ball. Brian Honora.
Watch the home plate umpire, Ray. Watch his right hand. See, there's the home plate umpire. He points fair.
Right, but it's based on where the ball supposedly, and Honora, and I think that's what Melvin's saying. You're here, and you're saying it hit his foot that far away, and it didn't.
But why does the first base umpire's call override the home plate umpire's call?
Because he must have said it hit his foot. He had to have said it. That's.
See, watch the home plate umpire.
Oh, I know. He called it
fair.
But the only reason he could have called a foul was if it hit his foot, and it didn't.
So Brian Honora must have felt like he saw something, obviously, to call it foul.
And whenever you see how Jamal's foot rolled, it missed. It looked like it was going to hit him, but it rolled over to the left, and it missed his foot.
Well, that hurts because Weeks would have ended up probably at third base. But when it's all said and done, he strikes out on 3 pitches, and it turns out to be a 3-up, 3-down inning. Here's our trivia question, which is brought to you by AT&T. Who were the 4 players in the American League last season to finish with a 300 batting average and 20 or more stolen bases? 4 guys in the American League. 300 average, 20 or more steals. Top of the 4th inning, Seattle 4 and the A's nothing. Saunders, Ryan, and Figgins 8-9-1 for Seattle. So a little controversy to end the bottom of the 3rd inning. Call that did not go the A's way. Jamal Weeks ends up striking out.
He was tired after running to third base.
He was tired. He was hauling too. Strike called. 1-1. Saunders grounded out 2 Weeks in the 2nd inning.
And we're going to show it again. The important thing about the reason Tom Hallion called it fair, he assumed the ball did not hit the foot of Jamal Weeks. And because the ball bounced and went down the third base line, he called it fair. And for some reason, Brian Honora thought that distance away, 90 feet to first plus where he's on the outfield grass, that he must have thought the ball hit the foot of Jamal Weeks, which should have been a foul ball. But it simply looked like the foot rolled as the ball went down and did not make contact.
Well, he's about 110 feet away. Tom Hallion's about 2.
And plus, a hitter usually reacts if the ball hits his foot. If it hit it hard enough, he's going to go down.
Well, Weeks just took off, right? I guess the point is if you're going to make that call from that far away, you have to be right.
Absolutely. And when Bob Melvin was there and he looked back saying, "You're here," and the play was there, how can you call it and the other guy doesn't?
Cespedes on the move, still on the move, and he leaps. It's off his glove up against the wall. Saunders stops at second with a double. So here's the play we're talking about.
Now see if it hits his foot. See him, watch him roll it right there. He rolled it over and it missed his foot. It missed it. Otherwise, if it hits it, it's not going to stay fair, which is what Tom Hallion called.
Tom Hallion points toward fair territory.
And meanwhile, at first, Ronald Noah is flailing his arms, indicating no, it's foul. But the reaction of Ronald Noah at first after the strikeout was not what you want to see from a major league umpire.
Jamal Weeks then struck out on the next pitch, and we'll show you the reaction of first base umpire Brian O'Nora, which, quite frankly, I thought was pretty unnecessary. This is what O'Nora does after Weeks strikes out. It was a swinging strikeout. Don't get me started.
Yeah, I know.
Completely unnecessary.
Exactly.
We move on. Is this the first game we're doing together? 2012. We're probably already.
I had an umpire tell me in spring training when I saw him, veteran umpire, one of the best, and he said, take it easy on the umpires. When you see something like that, it's hard. It's hard.
I agree. It's just not necessary.
No.
Ryan trying to go to right field, shoots it that way, but it's foul. 1-1 the count. Ryan led off that big third inning with a double. Hit a ball real well to left center field. So 6 hits now for Seattle, just a couple of hits for the Athletics. This time Ryan shows bunt. It's inside, 2-1. Figgins on deck. Did he pull the bat back in time? Yes, he did. 3-1. So we'll see what Eric Wedge lets Ryan do now that the count is certainly in his favor.
He's got a self-defense. He almost had to pull it back, otherwise it would have hit him in the head.
Swinging away and fouls it back. So now full count. Well, the Mariners were historically bad offensively last year. They scored just 556 runs, fewest in the majors. And the last 2 years, they have been last in the major leagues in run score. So they are trying everything they can to improve in that category. Ryan does a pretty good job hitting the ball to the right side. It's in the air, but it's going to allow Saunders to get to third.
Fans, when you're away from the Bay Area and can't watch the A's on Comcast Sportsnet, you can take the team with you with MLB.tv. Subscribe today to see every A's out-of-market game live online in HD quality. Features include choice of home and away broadcast, multi-game viewing with the Mosaic View, and the ability to pause and rewind live games. Visit OaklandAthletics.com to order. MLB.tv. Baseball everywhere. Folks, that is a great package for those who travel.
Gets better every year, too.
That's right.
Right? It gets a little clearer, high def now.
Yep. And no matter what type of iPhone, iPad, it doesn't matter. It's all right there.
Yeah.
Computer. And
the iPhone, you can watch it on the bus.
we can watch you watch it.
0-1 to Figgins. Now, we were talking about the Mariners offense and just how much it has struggled really the last 2 or 3 years. Last year, lowest average, fewest runs, second fewest home runs. So there's a lot of stuff that stands out offensively for Seattle, stands out in a negative way. Base hit center field, and that's going to get Saunders home. Figgins lines a single, and the ball juggled a little bit by Cespedes, but Figgins has an RBI single, and it is 5-0. So that offense is clicking tonight.
Just not making the pitches. That ball coming back more towards the middle of the plate. Did not start it far enough inside to get Figgins to kind of flinch a little bit. Instead, ended up in the hitting zone. And Brandon McCarthy, a single in the first inning by Ackley, a single in the second by Seager. And here we go with A's trailing 5-0.
Gonna get some action. Jordan Alberto, the lefty, is going to start loosening up. A couple of hits for Ackley. But Ray, so you see the low run total for Seattle, but how about this? To take that a little further, they had the fewest walks and the most strikeouts in the American League. Now think about that combination. Fewest walks, most strikeouts. That's a bad combination.
That is not a good one. No way.
The A's finished 12th out of 14 teams in runs scored. They scored 645 last year. Again, 556. But they think, they being the Mariners, think they will be better offensively this year, and well, quite frankly, they're going to have to be to improve on a 67-95 record last year. Offense not a problem tonight. .76 pitches for Brandon McCarthy. Good breaking ball there. Snaps in there. 1-2 the count.
Well, a disappointing thing for Brandon has to be the fact that he pitched so well in Tokyo, having to gear up quickly to pitch on the 28th of March. And then 8 days later, he gets another start, and after the first 2 innings, just not quite as sharp.
So McCarthy will pitch again on Wednesday in the series finale against the Kansas City Royals. That's a day game. Figgins inches off at first, and he takes off, and the pitch is popped up on the infield. Pennington has it, and that's out number 2. Economical last year was McCarthy. 14.5 pitches per inning on average. And that's one of the reasons that he had 5 complete games in 25 starts. That's pretty good.
16, 17, 26 in the first 3 tonight.
First pitch to Ichiro. It's fouled back. So the A's will start the season with 4 starters. And according to Kurt Young, Bob Melvin, they will need a 5th starter on April 17th. That's 9 games into the season. And that's when they will make the call to the minor leagues and bring somebody up. Graham Godfrey has taken hold of the 4th spot in that rotation. And that means Godfrey will pitch Tuesday.
It was Dallas Braden.
That was Dallas Braden.
He knew we were talking about get stuck him.
Brett Anderson, he's coming along from his recovery from surgery. Throw to second base is a bit late. Figgins has a stolen base.
pitch to throw, but one of those, not much of an opportunity. Of Figgins, good base stealing ability, and throw just a little bit late.
Ichiro, a strikeout and a walk. He also stole a base and scored a run in that third inning. Pennington has it. Ball goes right between the legs of Figgins. Ichiro's retired. A run on a couple of hits for Seattle, and the Mariners lead 5-0 after 3.5. First, we'll give you the question. Who are the 4 players in the American League last season to finish with a .300 batting average and 20 stolen bases? As we know, Ellsbury, Pedroia, Melky Cabrera, and Jamal Weeks hit .303 with 22 steals. And remember, he wasn't in the big leagues till the beginning of June. Coco Crisp to lead it off. Swing and a miss by Coco, followed by Reddick and Gomes. 5-0 Mariners lead, bottom of the 4th inning. Coco looking for his first hit this year. He's 0 for 9. There's a bunch more home openers today, so everybody is officially in the standings now. No more no wins, no losses. So we'll run around the American League a little bit. The Angels are opening at home tonight, and they're hosting the Kansas City Royals. That game is scoreless in the bottom of the 5th down in Anaheim.
Not surprising, Jared Weaver on the mound for the Angels to start their season
against Bruce Chen. So pretty good pitching matchup there. Coco hits it hard toward third. Seager has it, and his throw right there, 1 out. Rangers won their game today, Ray, 3-2 over the White Sox. Home opener, 49,085 down in Arlington. Watch some of that game. Colby Lewis pitched well. Kinsler with a home run. Joe Nathan, 3 up, 3 down, 9th inning to get his first save. Of course, Joe Nathan signing with the Texas Rangers in the offseason.
Well, that's good for him because a 1-run game and his first opportunity to save a game with his new team after so many years with the Twins. And a double play that was not turned helped the Rangers win the game.
Adam Dunn hit a home run for the White Sox, so that's good news for Chicago. Texas wins it 3-2. This one lofted toward right center. Plenty of time for Saunders to get over there, and that's out number 2.
Well, Adam Dunn, if you remember last year, in Cleveland hit a home run. I think he's hit 6 or 8, something like that, home runs on the opening day.
8. Yeah, good call, though.
But then he had an appendectomy and probably came back too quickly. Came back in a week, and we saw him in Chicago, and he was struggling and struggled the entire season. Hit well under 200.
2 outs for Johnny Gomes. Did you see the Rays-Yankees game? That was crazy, boy.
Just like game 162 last year.
What a surprise. The Rays were celebrating on the field. Yankees had a 6-5 lead going to the bottom of the 9th. They bring in Mariano Rivera. I saw Rivera come in, and I walked away for a little bit. I came back out, and the bases were loaded, nobody out, and the game was tied. And then Carlos Pena hit a high fly ball that went out to the wall, ended up being a single, obviously. The Rays scored twice against Mariano Rivera in the bottom of the 9th to win their home opener over the Yankees. 34,078 down in St. Petersburg. Pena hit a grand slam in that game as well, so he had 5 RBIs.
Former Ray Johnny Gomes. And I thought Johnny made the statement 2008 when they didn't expect the Rays to do anything. They ended up going to the World Series. Johnny was part of that. And you can't look at contracts, payrolls, players. Just look at how well the players play, and they did that.
2-out walk for Gomes. That's the first walk issued by Vargas. Longoria also hit a home run for the Rays in that game. But Carlos Pena being back there, it's like he never left. He was gone for a year, went to Chicago, and then signed back with the Rays.
But for the Rays to have first and third, nobody out twice and not score, and they figured, oh well, it's Rivera coming in and it's over. Well, they got to him. You know what excites this crowd? Looks like a sellout tonight. The home opener, the long shot by Cespedes right now.
First pitch, breaking ball in first drive. The other opener today in the American League was in Baltimore. The Orioles beat the Twins 4-2 in front of 46,773. Camden Yards. Markakis with a home run. Guess who had a home run for the Minnesota Twins?
Did it again last year, probably.
Josh Willingham. So that's the rundown in the American League games so far today. In the dirt, Cespedes lays off. 2-1.
Vargas in the start, the first one of his season. He retired at one time 13 in a row. But he had the starting pitcher Bartolo Colon pitching as well. And Smoke hit the home run, and just kind of when it opened the doors for the Athletics, the bottom of the inning, Cespedes hit a 2-run shot, and he scored 3 and beat the Mariners to even the series.
That one's driven left center and deep. And that baby is way out of here. Whoa, boy.
Is a cool night here in Oakland, and we have seen some of the strongest guys in the game hit balls and barely make it to the warning track. Folks, that ball was crushed.
But you're not safe in the luxury suites out there. That ball almost went into the luxury suite.
He's done it in batting practice, but this was a game, and it was crushed. And so the 2-out walk and Cespedes. Wow. Well, that excited the sellout crowd here, and gets the A's on the board with 2 outs. Same thing he did.
This one's going to stay in the ballpark. Saunders is under it. He's got it side retired. So some fun at the ballpark here in the 4th inning. Yoenis Cespedes, watch where the ball lands. This is a bomb, folks. And this was a long one, folks. Again, let's watch where it hits. Up near the suites. Boy, that hit above that first level of suites.
You know, watching the replay and watching how, I mean, when you hit a ball like this and you know it's going, this follow through, and then he took a little time, and I noticed Vargas walked down and he was in between the mound and the third baseline, and maybe there was something that he didn't like. But hey, you give a ball like that, you ought to turn around and look at it and admire it yourself. But then after he got around rather quickly.
Probably a good idea.
But McCarthy needs a 0 now. Got the fans excited. Got Cespedes with a 2-run shot.
Smoke, Montero, Seager. And now 3-0.
I'm Jason Vargas. I'd ask for his autograph.
Oh, you would you?
Well, it's not like Cespedes invented that. A guy 40 years ago that hit quite a few by the name of Reginald Martinez Jackson. He hit the Ivy at the old place before they built Mount Davis. There's Mount Davis. Well, not quite. That's in the upper section of above the suites. So great crowd tonight. Probably a pretty good walk up as well.
Yeah. 3-2 pitch just outside, and it's a leadoff walk to Smoke.
Well, speaking of those guys led by Reggie Jackson, come to Coliseum Saturday, April 21st, when the A's celebrate the 40th anniversary of their 1972 World Championship. 10,000 fans will receive a Raleigh Fingers bobblehead presented by Comcast Sportsnet California. Be the part of the reunion and celebrate the Bay Area's first world title. Check out the handlebar on Raleigh. For more information and tickets, go to oaklandathletics.com/tickets.
Hall of Fame bobblehead.
Absolutely.
That youngster will be there. Dad'll make sure.
That's pizza.
Here's Jesus Montero, a ground out and a sacrifice fly so far. He takes a strike in the outside corner. Norberto, who was up in the third inning, is up again here in the fifth. Hit hard toward the shortstop. Pennington has it, and Weeks turns it, and that's a nicely turned 6-4-3 double play. Hit hard and right in the perfect spot to Pennington. He was moving toward the bag at second.
And how different the game would have been had this occurred a couple of innings ago when bases were loaded. Instead, he had the sac fly to right field, which was a good approach. This time, tried to pull the ball. Taylor made 6-4-3.
2 outs for Seager. A couple of hits tonight for Kyle Seager. He had a big one in that third inning. Runners at second and third and 2 outs. He singled up the middle to knock home a pair. That may be the biggest hit in the game so far, because it came with 2 outs. .93 pitches now for McCarthy.
Thing is, if Mike Carp doesn't get hurt, Seager's not even in the lineup.
Figgins is at third, Carp's in left.
Yeah.
Well, the A's will be in Seattle a week from tonight for the Mariners home opener. It'll be the start of the A's first road trip. Non-Tokyo road trip. McCarthy gets the ground out. So leadoff walk, but no damage done, and we're headed to the bottom of the fifth. 5-2 Seattle. The A's won a home opener. We got to go back to 2004. It's our Ford Wright choice. Eric Burns, a pinch hit, 2-run double with 2 outs in the 8th inning. It was a 5-4 A's win over Texas. Arthur Rhodes got the save. Who? Arthur Rhodes. That's the happiest he ever was in Oakland right there.
The whole season.
But that was the last home opening win for the A's, and it was April 5th of 2004. So the A's have lost 7 consecutive home openers. They're trying to change that tonight. Last year, it was against these Mariners, and Felix Hernandez pitched a complete game. Toward the third baseman, Seager, who throws in time to get Josh Donaldson for out number 1. Now, Josh Willingham hit a 3-run homer right in the first inning, or 2-run homer, and Felix got ticked off, and he settled in, and he ended up throwing a complete.
First baseman, number 25.
Yeah, I'd like to think if you get 2 runs in the first inning off Felix Hernandez, and if any kind of a pitcher at all, you're going to at least take it 7 innings with a lead. But that was not the case. And you're right, Felix got a little upset, and he just decided to throw a complete game and not give up anything else.
There's Kaiue. Swing and a miss.
So Willingham might be going for Adam Dunn's record of home runs on opening day, since he hit one today, as you mentioned, in Baltimore.
He's got 2. Yeah. .61 pitches for Vargas. He threw 85 in that start in Tokyo.
Well, it might have been the matchups that had him an exit in that game in the 7th inning, although Bob Melvin brought up a good point talking about McCarthy and Colon in those 2 games in Tokyo. As pitchers, they talk about ups. Well, ups are sitting down and getting up, sitting down after an inning, getting back up. And for McCarthy, he had 7 and Colon had 8, and something they had not had in spring training. Bartolo will do it again tomorrow night following Brandon McCarthy. They're staying in the regular turn with McCarthy and Colon following him.
Payoff pitch to Kaiue. See, Vargas is one of those left-handers, Ray. He's not afraid to throw a changeup to a left-handed hitter. Remember when Jamie Moyer was pitching and he used to do that? Oh, he still is pitching.
Matter of fact, he took the spot of one Guillermo Moscoso. So he sent Moscoso to AAA. Jamie Moyer, the second man in the rotation for the Rockies.
How about that?
Yeah.
So Jamie Moyer, at the age of 49, is part of the Rockies rotation. Good for him.
Absolutely. Well, he was the first to start throwing changeup to lefties because they've started putting so many right-handers against them, or lefties against them, to take away his changeup. And so he said, all right, I'll throw it anyway.
Kaiue lines it to left. Well, that's a nice at bat for A's first baseman. Well, join us tomorrow 6 p.m. and we'll be on Comcast Sportsnet Plus as the A's wrap up this quick 2-game opening weekend series against the Mariners. Log on to csncalifornia.com to find channel locations in your area. Bartolo Colon, Felix Hernandez will be our pitching matchup. Complete A's coverage every night on Sportsnet Central and csncalifornia.com. The home of A's baseball is Comcast Sportsnet. Again, tomorrow night we're on Comcast Sportsnet Plus because the Sharks are on Comcast Sportsnet California. And another reminder, A's game is at 6:05. The Warriors will play a home game right next door to us tomorrow night. The Warrior game will start at 7:30.
Bartolo might be finished by then. He works quickly. He throws strikes, and of course we know what King Felix Hernandez does.
So it's going to be a busy night here at the Coliseum and the arena. So if you're planning on coming to the A's game, taking public transportation may not be a bad idea. Again, the A's are at 6, the Warriors at 7:30. So it'll be busy around here. So think about taking public transportation to the ball game tomorrow night.
Bottom line, come out to the Coliseum. Yeah. And matter of fact, get a doubleheader, baseball and basketball. Remember, late great Bill King, he would have done baseball and walked over to the Warriors and done the Warriors game too.
They could have announced him at the same time. He was so good. We missed Bill.
He'd have been all over Brian Honora.
Oh yeah, he would have. So we're doing that in honor of Bill.
Right.
Huh? 2-0 to Pennington. Checked his swing, and he did not go. 3-0. Well, we miss Bill King. We miss Ken Korak as well. Our good friend Ken is recovering from artificial knee surgery. So he's got himself a new knee. He's recovering nicely, and we hope to get Ken back at some point.
It'll probably be about 6 inches taller. Johnny Dasco, his first ever Sacramento River Cats, of course, longtime broadcaster for the River Cats, and he gets take over and work for Ken Korak while Ken is recuperating, rehabbing of his replacement knee.
This one's popped up. Olivo's coming back. See, I thought the A's did something great because they called up a broadcaster from AAA.
That's right.
It's just like you do with a player, right? Johnny Dasmus done a great job for the River Cats for a long time, and so they made the move. So we're glad to have Johnny aboard for the time being. Vince Cotroneo looks tight tonight, boy. Full suit. So Vinny's the lead man now, but we wish Ken Korak a speedy recovery as well. And he's going to be walking nice and straight when we see him.
Straight and tall.
Straight and tall.
I still think about Dwayne Murphy, of course, coach with the Blue Jays. I saw Murphy. I said, Murphy, you look different. You look taller. He's got 2 new knees. Straighten him
Phil
up.
Gartner, right? Did he get knee surgery? Or did he have? I thought he had knee replacement. Maybe not. But I know Dwayne Murphy is definitely a couple inches tall.
Exactly. At least that.
Pennington swings and misses, and it's a good changeup. Vargas has a good one, and he gets his 3rd strikeout.
Well, watch how he turns his back. And this is the tough part for a hitter, because he turns his back, looks the runner, and then pulls the string at 79 out of the strike zone. But the thing that you see as a hitter is the pitch coming, and it looks like a fastball, and you obviously are geared for a 3-2 fastball. And anybody that has a good change, and that's why against someone like Vargas or Jamie Moore, you're still pitching as a changeup pitcher. You just stay back and almost look for a changeup and adjust on a fastball.
Top of the order, and Jamal Weeks. Changeup is down and away. Walk and 3 strikeouts for Vargas.
We're going to see Tommy Malone on Monday. One of the players acquired by the A's in the offseason. You're going to see a similar changeup to what you're seeing from Vargas tonight. There's Tommy Malone.
So Malone will pitch on Monday, Graham Godfrey on Tuesday, Brandon McCarthy on Wednesday. And I guess that would then have Bartolo Colon and Felix Hernandez going at it again next Friday in that Mariners home opener.
The A's have a chance to see. I mean, if everything worked out, they could see Felix Hernandez 7 times this year, because there's 6 series, but got in the series in Tokyo, and the alignment the way it is, that's 1 in Tokyo, 1 here tonight, and then next Friday, and then the A's and Mariners will see each other again 4 more times.
It's going to be, they're going to see him 3 times in the first 8 games of the season. So you're right, it will be 6 or 7. Toward the shortstop, Ryan. He'll go the short way. Side retired. A hit and a runner left, and we're through 5 from the O.co Coliseum. 5-2 Seattle. Sixth inning, the Mariners 5, the A's 2. We have a new pitcher, Jordan Norberto, comes in when it's time for a change. Think Speedy oil change and tune-up, your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts. So the lefty Norberto comes in for his first appearance here in 2012. 6 games last year. He had a nice spring and gives the A's 3 left-handers down in that bullpen.
I remember he was acquired from the Diamondbacks, and one thing they talked about, a very good arm, left-hander, throws hard. Had a little tough time throwing strikes though for the A's when he arrived the last couple of months, but say pitch winter ball, he was a starting pitcher and felt a lot more comfortable in throwing strikes. These first 2 pitches to the always aggressive Olivo, a little bit high out of the strike zone.
2-1 on the swing and a miss. It was Brandon Allen and Jordan Norberto coming to the A's for Brad Ziegler. Went to the Diamondbacks. Three and 1. Diamondbacks beat the Giants today in their home opener 5-4. Tim Lincecum got knocked around a little bit. Pretty good lineup for the Diamondbacks, so they win their first game of 2012.
And Norberto threw a 3-1 fastball, good velocity out of the strike zone, but the again very aggressive Olivo swung at it. And I'd say if it was something close, he'll swing again 3-2.
Goes down after a low pitch, loops it into shallow center. Cespedes has it. That's out number 1 here in the 6th inning. 5 innings for McCarthy tonight. 5 runs, 2 of those 5 are earned. So the Donaldson error ends up costing McCarthy 95 pitches. One out for Michael Saunders. First pitch swinging. He goes a long ways, and that cost him. So Saunders, who's a big guy, but he runs very well, and he's coming out of the left-handed batter's box, so he gets a pretty good jump. And Kaihui just went too far.
Yeah. Well, especially when you look up and you see Jamal Weeks standing behind when he catches it, and which means and Norberto probably as a left-hander falling a little bit towards the third base side, a little slow getting over to first, realizing that once Kaihui went after it that he was going to have to be there, and he was late, just enough late that he could not beat Saunders to the bag. Matter of fact, I don't think Norberto ever tackled.
Well, if you're a left-handed pitcher, you always have to be ready to get over there a little quicker than maybe even a right-hander, because left-handers always fall off to the third base side of the mound. And what it really does, Ray, is your momentum is going away from the bag. Now watch where he ends up. See, he's a full step going toward third base.
And it's a good shot, because as he followed through, he immediately took off because he knew the ball was to the right side, and of course he knows that he falls off enough that he's going to have to hurry to start to get to first base, whether he's needed to be there or not.
But you think about the difference between where he lands and where a right-handed pitcher lands. It's 2 steps.
Absolutely.
Right?
Well, and
that makes a big difference.
2 steps from a dead run.
There you go.
Which is hard.
1-1 the count to Brendan Ryan, a double and a run scored, and a fly ball to right field. The fly ball to right field by Ryan actually advanced a runner from second to third, so a productive out, and that run ended up scoring. That Angels-Royals game is still 0-0 in the bottom of the 7th inning. Bruce Chen is no longer in the game for the Royals, so he went 6 innings. we'll see those Royals on Monday night. Kind of a fun young team to watch.
Maybe one of the surprise teams in the American League.
Maybe. Got that extra wild card team now, Ray. Come on.
Better win the division.
You never know.
Otherwise,
it ain't going to be easy.
If you're a wild card winner under the old format prior to this year, you at least had a 5-game series. Yeah. This year, 1 game.
You got one more step to get to that series.
Before you get the 5 games. Exactly. So you could have the 4th best record in the league and a 1-game out.
Liner, left field base hit. Saunders is going to try for third, and he's going to make it. The throw comes into second base, so Brendan Ryan has 2 hits, and the Mariners are at it again. First and third, 1 out.
Very good play by Coco Crisp. Always tempting to think about the runner going to third with the runner in front of him, but Coco knows that even though Figgins is a tough guy to double up, keep the double play in order. And you're right, Saunders, the big player that he is, very good speed. So it's not an error on the books, but it's a mistake that has allowed this inning to get where it is right now, first and third, and just 1 out. And again, a very tough guy to double up. Figgins turning around about right-handed.
Pitch is high. Figgins struck out in the first. Sacrifice and reached on an error in the third, scored a run, and then singled in a run in the fourth and had a stolen base. So he has had a good night. He's been right in the middle of the scoring for Seattle, and that's what the Mariners are hoping for. Bunted, will safety squeeze. It's going to work perfectly, and everybody's going to be safe. A little surprised that Kaiue did not throw it, but he held on to it. The run comes in to score. That's Saunders, and the Mariners, with good execution, get another run.
Well, you're right. It was a safety squeeze, not suicide. The runner was not coming down the line, but once Figgins got the ball down, and Weeks was going to be there, throw it, and that's the reason right there. Even though Weeks was not at the bag, you don't expect him to be there because he has a long run from second base, but Kaihue's played enough to know that that's a play that you throw to the bag, and the fielder will be there.
So that's a couple of outs that have been given up in this inning.
Exactly.
And that's just something the A's cannot do. So the inning goes on.
Number 13, Dustin Ackley.
Ryan at second, Figgins at first, and here's Ackley, who's 2 for 3. 10 hits now for Seattle. And a 6-2 lead. Ackley takes a big rip at a fastball and fouls it straight back. Andrew Kerrigan's going to start to throw. Base hit left field. Ryan had to make sure it went through. He stops at third, and everybody moves up, and the bases are loaded for Ichiro Suzuki.
Well, Ackley's a pretty good hitter, and not surprising to see him go inside out to left field. And of course, the big hole, the infield looking for 2.
So Ichiro steps in. He's 0 for 2 with a walk and a run score. 4 career grand slams for Ichiro. He has 95 career home runs here in the United States. Ryan, Figgins, and Ackley are the runners. Another slider, and Ichiro fouls this one back to even the count at 1-1.
Well, 11 hits. I count 2 doubles. Is that it? As far as the extra base hits. Saunders
You are
and Ryan.
correct.
All down left field. It was Figgins alerting home plate umpire. But that's what the Mariners are doing. You see the base running tonight, and the A's are going to have to do the same thing because both clubs, although Cespedes home run tonight, a monster shot, but Eric Wade knows what he has on this ball club, and especially at their home park in Safeco Field. That's a huge place, and play little ball, you can score a lot of runs.
Foul back, high fastball, 1-2. Cespedes in center field is shaded toward left center. Crisp is very shallow in left field, a little bit toward the line. Reddick his normal spot in right field. You just never know where Ichiro's going to hit it. That one stays inside. Another slider, 2-2. Ichiro 4 for 11 to start this season. Shallow center. Cespedes comes in. Ryan tags, and Ryan's going to try to score. The throw is there. The tag is not put on. Wow. Suzuki just missed him, and a nice slide by Brendan Ryan. He got in there, and it's 7-2. Give the slide some credit on that one.
Well, I think they're going to appeal to third base if he left early. But Cespedes with a strong throw. It was right there. And the slide and the call by the umpire, the correct call. But it looked like the throw might have tailed a little bit towards the dugout. Suzuki reaching back and then having to go back to the inside. And that's the importance of the guy in the on-deck circle telling the runner where to slide. Foot got in. Hallion with a very good setup, good location to make the call, and it was the correct call.
So here's Justin Smoke, couple of runs in here in the 6th inning. Second sacrifice fly for the Mariners tonight. Well, the Cespedes home run made it 5-2, but that came in the 4th inning. Here in the 6th, Seattle has got those 2 runs back.
The on-deck hitter, Justin Smoke, telling him to slide inside. And the runner coming down the line cannot look back. If he does, he's going to slow himself down. So he depends on the on-deck hitter to tell him to slide, not to slide, and if definitely to slide where to. And that helped the Mariners score the run. 2 gift runs in this inning, basically.
And neither will go down as errors, but mistakes defensively by the A's. 3-0 to Smoke with Montero in the on-deck circle. Kerrigan throwing in the bullpen. And that one is a strike. Looked like Smoke may have been ready to swing. He took it. Smoke is 0 for 2. He walked in the 5th inning, was erased on a double play. Big swing. He pops it up on the infield. Donaldson has it. Side retired. 2 runs on 4 hits. Bottom of the 6th, coming up 7-2 Seattle. Coors Light sixth inning. It's time for the Coors Light Freeze Cam. Coors Light Freeze Cam is brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. It's the world's most refreshing beer. Opening night here at the Coliseum, sellout crowd. The Mariners with a 7-2 lead, bottom of the sixth inning. So the A's will have 4 more shots at this one. Jason Vargas back out there. The only run that he has given up is the Cespedes 2-run homer in the 4th inning, and it was a long one, folks.
Got to get Coco a hit, though.
Yeah.
Find out a way for Coco to get on base and get his season started.
Coco 0 for 10.
Problem is when you start a season as the A's did in Tokyo, and then you have 8 days, you have to sit on that offer for 8 days before you resume. You don't have a game to get right back, and there it is.
He waited on a breaking ball and lines it to right field. Here's our Subway Eat Fresh Ask Glenn and Ray question. Log on to csncalifornia.com to post your question. Tim from Modesto asks, what's your take on the off-season trades the A's made? It's a fair question from an A's fan.
Very simply great, considering the players the A's received. I'm just thinking of 3 trades. There were others, but with 3 quality major league players, and Gio Gonzalez, Trevor Cahill, and Andrew Bailey. The A's netted 10 players for those 3, and Ryan Cook is in the bullpen. You got Tommy Malone Monday night, Josh Reddick in right field. And I think there are a lot of people, when Billy Beane made the trades, were wondering what's going on. But I think with the players that the A's received, Seth Smith from Colorado for a couple of players, and Josh Outman, who I think hurt himself, and it was Ryan Cook standing next to De Los Santos, the bearded one. And he's good. He's a setup man. He's the 8th inning guy. There's some good acquisitions for the players that were traded.
I think what's hard for fans is that they knew the players that were traded so well, and the players you get back, because they're young players, and we're starting to see them, but there are a lot of them that are still in the minor leagues that you don't know a lot about.
Well, even in the introductions tonight, I thought it was interesting the reaction of the fans to the players.
Vargas throws it into center field. So the A's get a break, and they got 2 on and nobody out.
Well, he put his hand on his chest saying it's my fault. It is his fault. The A's hope they can take advantage of it. It definitely looked like it could have been 2. Even if Vargas doesn't catch it, it's a double play. But then he throws it, does not lead Ryan. And as a result, the ball's in center field. So the A's need to take advantage of the mistake that really helps them, because it could have been a double play to get out of the inning, or at least the first 2 outs. And Vargas, every pitcher knows you lead the infielder. He threw behind him. The veteran pitching coach Carl Willis is going to pay a visit with the right-hander warming up in the bullpen. Remember Rick Peterson used to put his hand on the pitcher? Carl Willis put his arm around the catcher.
Really?
He knows the catcher's important.
So Mark Mulder would not have done well with Carl Willis as his pitcher.
But he didn't do well with
he did not like
shoulder. Carl was with Eric Wedge in Cleveland, came to the Mariners, and lo and behold, Eric Wedge became the manager, so it was perfect. 2 working together again.
So an opportunity for the A's. Johnny Gomes steps in with Crisp at second, Reddick at first. Reddick runs well, as does Coco Crisp. And a change up, first pitch, and it's right there for a strike to Gomes, who has struck out and walked. He scored on the Cespedes home run. just missed inside. Vargas wanted that one.
See the difference for Vargas. That ball didn't tail back. It stayed straight on the inside corner. But usually the fastball from a lefty doesn't throw hard like Vargas. It's more of a show pitch to go back to the outside with something off speed, or at least tailing fastball away.
Changeup again, 1-2. There's a right-hander, Steve Delabar, warming up out in the Mariners bullpen. 88 pitches for Vargas. There's Delabar. Lots of new names on the Mariners roster as well, especially with their pitching staff and in their bullpen. Check swing, dribbled foul. The ball was running in on Gomes.
On top of the plate, and Johnny, who got a fastball earlier in the at bat, took it, and now has to be thinking. Threw a fastball in. Ended up coming back with a changeup.
Fastball is high, 2-2 the count. Cespedes on deck.
I don't know that he'll face Vargas again.
This one's popped up. Wow. It's going to be playable for Smoke. He's got it in foul territory. So that's out number one. Well, we'll see if indeed Vargas stays in there after getting Gomes. And he will not. So Jason Vargas, 91 pitches, 5 1/3 innings, and he's done when it's time for change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Oakland Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
Jason Vargas goes 5 1/3. He leaves with a couple of runners on base, 1 out. Got him at 91 pitches, so he can win it. He cannot lose it, and he'll sit back and see if his bullpen can hold on. Steve Delabar comes in. Those are the numbers from last year for Delabar. 6 games. He was called up in September.
I pitched against the game, against the A's in the game that Vargas started in Tokyo, gave up the big home run to Johnny Gomes.
First pitch in for a strike, 95 miles an hour. Delabar 6'5", 220-pounder facing Cespedes. If you missed it, Cespedes' home run in the 4th inning landed above the first row of luxury boxes. We are told it was 462 feet. But he just fouled the ball off some part of the body. Let's see where it was.
Well, the two-seamer down and in. It's got the protection, but it hit above the protection and below the left knee on the shin. Every time I see that, when Jermaine Dye comes to mind. Oof.
Fastball 95 miles an hour, and Cespedes swings and misses. So a little giddy up on that fastball, kind of took off. So Delabar gets the strikeout. Watch this baby just take off.
The catcher, number 8,
What do they say, Ray? Had a little run to it, huh?
Yes, and power arm out of the bullpen, and it's exactly what Delabar brings. Cespedes not quite able to catch up to a fastball.
So 2 outs for Kurt Suzuki. Delabar last year started the season in A-ball, moved to Double-A, moved to Triple-A, and then in September got to the big leagues. And he has also paid his dues in the minor leagues. He's been in professional baseball since 2004. He's 28 years old. He's looking for a 2-out hit. And foul just below us. Brandon Lee still the Mariners closer. But outside of that, there's some new names down in that Mariners bullpen, at least to start the season. Nasty pitch there, 1-2. So 95-mile-an-hour heater with some movement, and then he drops this in.
It's a hard slider that goes down like a splitter. Not a fun pitch to try to hit.
So 1-2. Crisp at second, Reddick still at first. Bounce left side. Seager goes the short way. Side retired. So the A's get the first 2 runners on. Cannot score. We're headed to the 7th. 7-2. Well, this true story is brought to you by McDonald's. On this date in 1977, that's 35 years ago, the second time in 9 years, a new franchise is Seattle Mariners made their major league debut in Seattle, Washington. Of course, they were the Pilots a little bit before that, 69. Saw Danny Kaye in that picture. He was part owner. He was on Andy throughout the first pitch. That first year, the Mariners finished 64-98. Again, 1977. They came in with the Toronto Blue Jays expansion. The American League expanded by 2.
I spent the last part of the season with the Seattle Mariners.
You didn't enjoy that very much, did you?
I think Andrew Kerrigan enjoys more pitching in the 7th inning than I enjoyed the 2 weeks in Seattle. It rained, I think, every day that we were in Seattle. And every day I'd wake up saying, oh, no game. Oh, they've got the dome. So there were no rainouts. But the best thing that ever happened to Seattle was Safeco Field and the beautiful stadium with the retractable roof, or the canopy roof.
So a new pitcher for the A's, Andrew Kerrigan. It's time for a change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts. Hard throwing right-hander comes in.
He is hard throwing, has a very good fastball, and Brendan Ryan a 2-strike curveball, and Tokyo ended up hitting the double that we talked about earlier, and the eventual winning run in the 11th inning.
3-0 to Montero. So Jordan Alberto goes 1 inning, gives up 4 hits, 2 runs. No walks, no strikeouts. 3-0 pitch, high strike call to Jesus Montero. So 1977. Well, the Pilots were there for 1 year, right? 1969, Seattle Pilots.
Played in their AAA park in Seal 6 Stadium. It was sick. Jim Bowden played for the Seattle Pilots that year.
Close pitch, just a bit inside.
Oh, it checks. Finally.
Wow. So Montero got all the way to first base, and then they checked, and Brian O'Nora said, you went around. That was odd.
Actually, it looked like a pretty good strike.
It did look
even
like a
before
good
the
pitch.
check swing.
Number
But
15, Kyle Seager.
there's the pitch, and nobody says anything. Normally, if you have a delayed appeal to first or third base, oh, he's into it, isn't he?
There we go.
Oh, he is really into it. Did you see how he walked around Montero and the first baseman to make sure he could be seen?
You got to get in the camera shot. Kyle Seager. 2-0 to Seager. So the Pilots were there 1 year, and then they get bought by Bud Selig, who moves them to Milwaukee, and they become the Brewers. And then Seattle had to wait a while, 7 years, and they got the Mariners.
They got the King Dome. And they got the Mariners. But Milwaukee really was fortunate because it's rare that a city loses a team, as the Braves went from Milwaukee to Atlanta. And you figure once a team leaves, they're not going to get another one. And sure enough, it was Bud Selig who came forward and really helped get the team to Milwaukee.
So Carrier walks Seager. Well, there's lots of different stories you hear.
Number 30.
You may know better than I, Ray, but
Olivo.
the story I always heard was that Major League Baseball really wanted a team in the South because they didn't have one. And Atlanta was the best city for it. Unfortunately, they took the Braves out of Milwaukee because it was an area of the country that did not have a Major League Baseball team in the South. But Milwaukee then got the Brewers in 1970, but it wasn't like an expansion team in Milwaukee. It was Bud Selig buying a Seattle team that I think was bankrupt after just 1 year in Seattle, the Pilots.
Well, the team, or at least the park they were playing in, it was, like I said, they're AAA. I played in their park. I was in the Coast League, and they try to make it a major league park, and it was just very difficult to do.
Swing and a miss by Miguel Olivo. 1-2 the count.
But you think about Hank Aaron hitting number 715 in Atlanta. And of course, he was a long-time Milwaukee Brave. Eddie Matthews, Warren Spahn, a lot of greats that Crandall played for the Milwaukee Braves.
But the Mariners still looking for their first World Series
appearance.
Yeah.
To win 116 as they did, and
that was the year that they thought they had their best chance. Swing and a miss by Olivo. Goes after a breaking ball.
Join the A's for our 2012 Little League Day, driven by Chevrolet. This year's event features a pregame festival, an on-field parade for uniformed players and coaches, and a special A's giveaway item. Always a great day for the Little Leaguers to parade around the field. In addition, groups of 100 or more will receive a special invite for pregame Chalk Talk. For more information, call 510-638-GO-A's or visit OaklandAthletics.com/Little League.
First pitch strike to Michael Saunders, who's had a good game. 2 for 3, single, a double, and he scored a couple of runs hitting out of the 8th spot. Saunders and Ryan, the 8th and 9th place hitters, have really hurt the A's tonight. 4 hits total and 4 runs scored. Not this time though. It's popped up. Donaldson, step onto the outfield grass, has it, side retired. 7th inning stretch on opening night at the O.co. 7-2 Seattle.
Insurance, we're sponsoring the magnetic schedules this year. Those are pretty awesome. Love that photo smile. And again, thanks to all our fans for coming out for opening day. We hope to see you for the rest of the season. All right, opening day. Have to do a little singing.
Yoenis Cespedes with the 2-run homer in the 4th inning. The only runs for the A's as they trail 7-2 bottom of the 7th inning. So lots of work to do for the A's. They're trying to win a home opener for the first time since 2004.
And they've had 2 chances this year.
That's right.
2 home openers, and so far they're 0 for 1 and trying to avoid 0 for 2.
So basically, Ray, the 2 games in Tokyo were A's home games.
Yep. Matter of fact, the A's have 3 sellouts.
That's right.
They had, let's see, they had 44,227 and then 43,391. And tonight, 35,067.
So the A's have a sellout streak of 3.
3, and leading the world in attendance.
So indeed, those 2 games in Tokyo were off the A's home schedule. And that's one of the reasons why the A's are not playing on Sunday.
Right.
Actually have Easter Sunday off, which is You always play on Sunday, of course, during the baseball season.
Well, no. This year the A's are off
twice.
The Republican National Convention, so they're going to move up in Tampa. And the great Mickey Morabito, who did a tremendous job. He and, of course, for the travel for the trip to Tokyo, the longtime director of team travel for the A's, Mickey Morabito, and for Steve Usinich on the equipment side, getting all the baseball equipment on a big charter flight to go for those 2 games. Actually a full week in Tokyo, a couple of exhibition games.
But I think Mickey and Boos and everybody is looking forward to the normalcy of a baseball schedule, which really, that normalcy starts tonight. We're playing almost every day.
Do you think, though, for Mickey, there's ever anything normal with travel?
Well, that's true. He's always ready for something not normal to happen, and when it does, he handles it like a champ. Two and two the count to Donaldson. He'll be followed by Kayahue and then Pennington. Bottom 3 in the A's order.
Some great comebacks today, as you mentioned, and A's would love nothing better than to come back from this 5-run deficit with the 7th inning, 3 shots, counting the 7th inning, try to get back in the game.
There's that good fastball, and Donaldson swings and misses. Second strikeout for Steve Delabar.
Well, this is when you know you're down by 5. You're going to get a fastball. He got it 3-2, but the good velocity from the right-hander makes you wonder why even threw the 2-2 slider to get it to 3-2, but able to come back and throw a very live fastball.
1 out for Kayahue, who had a base hit to left field in the 5th inning, grounded out in the 3rd. Ray, the Angels scored 5 times in the bottom of the 8th inning. That game was 0-0 going to the 8th, and they dropped a 5 spot on the Royals, and that game just now gone final. The Angels 5 and the Royals nothing. So Jared Weaver pitched extremely well. He gets the win. And the Angels win their first game. Kendry Morales was in their lineup. See how Albert Pujols did tonight.
It might be disappointing for the Angels and the Rangers if they ever lose this year, because they loaded up in the offseason.
Tap to the right side slowly. And Ackley takes care of Kayahue. That's out number 2.
Chevrolet is driving more value this season with Chevy free parking Tuesdays, every Tuesday home game. With the exception of premium games and dual events at the arena, you'll pay nothing. That's 0 to park, courtesy of Chevy. See your Northern California Chevy dealer for their award-winning lineup of Chevy cars, trucks, and crossovers. For more information, visit OaklandAthletics.com/Tuesday. And that will be this coming Tuesday when the A's host the Kansas City Royals, the first of the free parking Tuesdays.
Pennington rips one down the right field line, and it is foul. Long, loud strike, 0-1. You know what I think is going to happen? And I'm not a big prediction guy, but I bet with the extra playoff team, I think see the Rangers and the Angels both making it to the postseason. Wouldn't surprise me at all.
Well, I think what we're going to be seeing, instead of everybody talking about the Red Sox and the Yankees making postseason, one as a division, one as a wild card, I think you're exactly right. It's kind of shifted maybe to the West Coast, the Western Division.
Saunders has it, and Steve Delabar retires all 5 hitters that he faces. We're moving on to the 8th inning. debut of Oakland A's, the Tokyo Experience. Log on to csnbayarea.com for cutting room floor footage you cannot find anywhere else. From the Tokyo Dome to karaoke to youth camps run by A's players, we have you covered. csncalifornia.com, your interactive home for A's baseball all season long. So after tonight's game, then A's Post Game Live, and then that show. So keep it right here on CSN California.
You walk around the $10,000 bill in your pocket, but it's a yen.
Doesn't last long.
About worth $112. No. Maybe 2 breakfasts.
Yeah.
It was a little pricey, but finally getting back on the right time zone.
Ryan Figgins and Ackley against Andrew Kerrigan. He's into his second inning of work. He had a couple strikeouts in the 7th. Hard thrower.
Well, the A's came so close that actually they could be 2-0 with just the right, get at the right time in the open of the season actually, and took 11 innings, and then Mariners scored 3 runs, but so close, just could not come up with a big hit with runners in score position. Tonight, just the opposite. The Mariners have done everything, taking advantage of some mistakes and getting some timely hits.
3-1 pitch is high, and Brendan Ryan is on base for the 3rd time. He's got a single, a double, and now a walk. 4th walk issued by A's pitchers, and that'll bring up Figgins. Figgins has had a very good night.
Now batting, number 9, Sean Figgins.
Couple of hits, couple of RBIs, scored a run, he's got a stolen base, so he has filled up the stat sheet tonight. Figgins, of course, signed that big contract with the Mariners, a 4-year deal. In his first 2 years, extremely disappointing for everybody involved. He just has not played very well. And then, of course, the injuries last year. He is signed through 2013.
I mean, last year he hit 1 home run, and it was opening night. Did not hit any more. Played in only 81 games, has a hip problem, labrum. And I think the biggest thing for him, when asked him about where are you going to play, and he said everywhere. And as it turned out, that's exactly what happened with Mike Harcourt on the disabled list. See the numbers for Figgins, of course, with the Angels, 3 of those seasons, 7, 8, 9, but he was an igniter on the Angels ball clubs.
This one's flipped to left field, and it's going to be a base hit. So Figgins has his 3rd hit. Already talking about Figgins, that final year with the Angels, 2009, right before he signed with Seattle,
Number 13,
it was his best year. He was just terrific with the Angels. That 09 season, he hit .298, 30 doubles, 7 triples, 5 homers, 42 steals, 101 walks, and 114 runs scored. So now, you're the Mariners, you're thinking, we're getting a premier leadoff hitter. And he just has not performed in Seattle.
Because he wasn't a leadoff hitter.
Yeah, but that's true.
Yeah,
maybe that's part of it.
And that's why he's extremely happy this year and this season, and with Ichiro moving to 3rd and 3rd place in the batting order. The fact that Figgins can play so many different positions, infield or outfield. But leading off, and everybody knows that no matter where you are in the lineup, it's only one time through the order and then everything changes. But you said that something about seeing your name at the top of the lineup, knowing that you are the leadoff hitter, changes everything. And he probably is going to have a good season. Figgins is.
Ackley hacks at the 0-2 pitch and fouls it down the left field line. Sellout tonight, over 35,000. Most of them sticking around on a chilly night. There's a shot to right field. Reddick on the move, makes the catch. Tries to double off Figgins at first. Airmails it a little bit, but Suzuki's right there.
Good throw, and he would have gotten him, but just too strong of a throw.
So Ackley lines out.
Ackley's got a nice setup, but he really charges after the ball, and Figgins had gotten halfway. Fortunately, Kurt Suzuki was there to take the overthrow. Aubrey Huff got Reddick in San Francisco in the interleague play where he rounded the bag. Reddick threw behind him and he coasted in the second, but then threw him out at home. So he has shown he's got a very strong arm.
Jordan Weeks flips to second for one, and a nice double play. 4-6-3, and the inning is over. A walk, a hit, but nothing for the Mariners. Bottom of the eighth coming up. Work to do for the Athletics. They trail 7-2.
On the upper deck? No way!
Here's our game summary brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. It was a 4-run third inning that got the Mariners going. Big hit there. Seager with a 2-out, 2-run single, and then in the fourth inning, Figgins with an RBI hit. How about this shot by Cespedes? A monster home run. And I mean a monster home run. 462 feet. Unfortunately, that's the only run the A's have scored tonight. 7-2, the Mariners lead. 7-12-1 for Seattle. 2-5-1 for the Athletics. Vargas 5 1/3. Brandon McCarthy 5 runs, but only 2 earned. The A's defense has struggled some tonight. Send up the top of the order against a new right-hander, Tom Wilhelmsen. It's time for a change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts. 25 games last year for Wilhelmsen. And it looks like, Ray, that he's going to be their setup guy for Brandon Lee.
Another power arm out of Eric Wedge's bullpen, and Jamal Wiggs jumped on the 4-seam fastball. He throws the 4 and the 2-seam fastball. There's Wilhelmsen, a tall pitcher, and right over the top. And Jamal Wiggs with a couple of hits tonight, so that's a good sign to see the young second baseman get on board a couple of times.
So Weeks aboard. Here's Coco Crisp. Jamal now 3 for 12 to start the season with his 2 hits tonight. Coco got his first hit of the season in the 6th inning, a line drive single to right field. So Steve Delabar comes in out of the bullpen and goes an inning and 2/3 of 5 up, 5 down baseball with a couple of strikeouts. So Dellamar did his job getting the ball to Wilhelmsen here in the 8th. Shot left center, but it hangs up now, and it's lost in the lights by Figgins, and Crisp is going to have a hit. So it looked like, at least from our angle, that Figgins could not find it in the lights, because I think it was, even though it was a line drive, probably a catchable ball.
I agree, and Coco, a little smile on his face, and it's a first hit. He says, I'm living the good life, because this should have been an out instead of base hit, and Figgins picked up the ball about the time it hit the ground because it recovered quickly enough to keep the ball from going past him. But it's not sunshine. Had to be the lights, and Figgins could do nothing. If you can't see the ball, it's tough to catch it, and needs to react to keep the runners just at first and second. So he's having a chance again.
That one's drilled right center. It's hit deep. Saunders is at the warning track, and he makes the catch. Both runners will advance, but a well-struck ball by Reddick. But this time of year, this time of night, the ball is just not going to carry very well. I think Reddick probably hit that ball pretty well.
Yeah, he did. And of course, anytime you think about, well, I hit it okay and hit it well and just didn't go anywhere, then you think about Cespedes. So a position in the lineup that not surprising to see that Seth Smith, the left-hander, is going to pinch hit for Johnny Gomes, the right-hander. As Reddick, who hit a couple of balls hard in Tokyo at the Dome, did not go anywhere to left field. This time here at the Coliseum, did not go anywhere.
So here's Smith. Well, I don't think there's going to be anything but a straight platoon for Gomes and Smith. And then when Manny Ramirez becomes eligible, well, then you see what happens. Smith, good left-handed hitter. Some good years with the Rockies.
Well, great changeup. Smith is geared for the fastball, and he was a great pinch hitter. Was Seth Smith for the Rockies, and as he is in that role right now. The ball gets away out in left field. Acquired from the Rockies for Guillermo Moscoso and Josh Allen.
Breaking pitch and a good one. 1-2 to Smith.
Finding the front foot, kind of a late swing, almost a 2-strike protecting swing, but that was the second strike.
Rolls over on that one to stay alive. 1-2 the count. Smith was a second-round pick of the Rockies in 2004. And he's got the distinction of being the backup quarterback in college to Eli Manning.
How much did he play?
He never took one single snap in 3 years. That's not right. You can't sneak him in a game somewhere. I mean, Ole Miss had to be blowing somebody out where he could have got a series in or something.
Does it kind of make you want to say, Rudy, Rudy?
Man, oh man.
There's Ariel Prieto standing behind Cespedes, his interpreter. There he is. There's Ariel.
Shot, base hit right field. Here comes Ichiro. One run's going to score. They'll hold Coco, and it's an RBI hit for Smith. It's 7-3. So Week scores first and third.
And that's a tremendous at bat for Seth Smith, because you saw a couple of swings, especially the dirt breaking balls from Wilhelmsen. But he stayed on. They try to go inside. Look at the quickness of his bat as the ball tailed back over the middle of the plate. What a great swing by Smith. And he continues to thrive on the pinch hitting role.
So there's a lot of movement down in the Mariners bullpen. We'll see who's getting up.
In the 2007, when the Rockies went on that string, that run where they never lost. Well, Seth Smith was right in the middle of it. Some great pinch hitting and took them right to the World Series, and unfortunately lost to the Red Sox.
Lefty and a righty. Sherrill and Ramirez. Sherrill is the lefty. Erasmo Ramirez is the righty.
Well, one swing of the bat and the A's are within a run, and that's what this young man, Yoenis Cespedes, does with this lineup. Put him in the position where you get one swing of the bat. 3-run home runs are hard to come by. He had a 2-run shot that probably could measure the distance for 2.
Now it gets the crowd into the game. Still just 1 out with Crisp at third, Smith at first. Big overhand breaking ball outside to Cespedes. Fly ball to right, 2-run homer to center, and a strikeout. We got a fastball running in just a little bit and hits it foul.
You know, the home run that Cespedes hit tonight, same direction in which he hit his first major league home run. This one on the sweet spot, the first one, more trademark, but still so strong to get it out of the park, or at least in the home run territory. That's how strong this young man is.
That one's popped up. Smoke is going to watch it bounce into the first row, and there was a fastball out over the plate, and that's where a good power hitter usually likes it. Cespedes had a pretty good swing.
And this swing kind of reminiscent of one Vladimir Guerrero. Big bad Vlad, and lift the leg just a little bit behind in the swing. Good fastball from Wilhelmsen, and that might have been the difference. About a 95-mile-an-hour fastball versus a little bit less of velocity.
So Wilhelmsen ahead in the count, 1-2. Inside corner, strike 3 called, and it looked like Cespedes knew it.
Yeah.
Pretty good pitch right on the inside corner.
Away, good swing as you mentioned, but then Olivo right buck on the inside part of the plate, perfectly thrown by Wilhelmsen, and yes, Cespedes knew. He backed out, but he knew it was a strike. Even for one who does not understand English, he knows strike is strike.
Looked like a pretty good pitch. So a chance for Kurt Suzuki, 1 run in. Another fastball, but this one runs inside. Kurt is 0 for 3. On the season, 1 for 12 for Suzuki. Down around the knees, first strike. And remember, tomorrow night we'll be on Comcast Sportsnet Plus. 6:05 first pitch. Colon and Hernandez is your matchup. Make sure you join us for that. Told you the Angels won their game 5-0. Albert Pujols had a quiet night. He was 0 for 3. Hitting in the 3rd spot in the Angels lineup. That one rolls away from Olivo. Crisp is going to stay at 3rd, but Smith is going to move up to 2nd. Right now a hit really closes up the game.
But a good two-seam fastball, and Like Kurt Suzuki earlier, Olevo not able to hang on, so it is a pass ball like the 1-2 Kurt. So you're right. One swing and it's a 2-run game.
Long look in by Wilhelmsen. Now he's ready. 2-2 to Suzuki. Cold foul.
Ryan Cook on your right, the newcomers, and Fortino de los Santos on your left. And you saw him last year, de los Santos. That man's got a good arm, Ryan Cook. Good fastball.
Ace fans are going to like him.
Absolutely.
Breaking ball again. Hit foul.
It keeps hanging the curveball. And he was able to stay alive, but can't keep it fair. Protecting, and really kind of a backup curveball. Instead of breaking away from the right-hander, it's kind of coming back into his swing. That's why he's pulling them foul.
Nothing wrong with making sure you're on the same page in a pivotal point in the game. Sherrill and Ramirez have been warming up for a while down in the Mariners bullpen, so they're ready to go. Now Suzuki steps out. Swing and a miss. Chased the pitch out of the strike zone. A's get a run. So we're going to the 9th inning. It's the Mariners 7 and the Athletics 3.
Baseball on Comcast Sportsnet California is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Love bacon? Then try the new BLT cheeseburger combo right now at Jack in the Box for just $4.99 plus tax.
We have reached the 9th inning on opening night here at the Coliseum. 7-3, the Mariners lead the Athletics. And we got a new pitcher. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change tune-up and smog experts. The right-hander Fortino de los Santos comes in, 26 years old, 6'2", 225 pounds.
Good fastball, good slider from de los Santos, and pitched very well last year, kind of in the middle relief. Had a chance maybe to be the setup guy this year, but Ryan Cook stepped ahead of him. So it's going to be Brad Balfour as the closer. Brian Fuentes from the left side. as one of the setup guys, and Ryan Cook the other. And De Los Santos try to be consistent in the strike zone with a good fastball and the slider.
Smoke, Montero, and Seager. And the first pitch down the left field line. A long run for Coco Crisp, and it's going to drop foul. So everything's final in baseball. Some of the teams had day off today, which you get that with the East Coast teams where they had their opening game yesterday. And then you see it on the schedule where they'll have the next day off. And you say, well, what the heck do they do that for? Well, in case there's rain out or snow out, bad weather in April, then they have the next day to get that game in, because the opener is special. You're going to have a huge crowd.
And usually the people who buy an opening day ticket and it's rained out, they say, okay, we'll go to the next day.
Sure, because they want to go.
That's right.
I know the Rockies are doing that next week. They're always ready for weather there.
They better be.
They'll open on Monday and then have Tuesday off. Everybody will be back in action tomorrow. Full slate. Good pitch. Smoke strikes out, and that's out number one. Well, we got in-depth sports news for the great Bay Area fans. Go deep with Sportsnet Central. It's brought to you by Hyundai, and it's tonight at 10:30 over at our sister station, Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. Kate Longworth will have a post-game report from the A's locker room. Highlights from all around Major League Baseball, and the Sharks division title possibilities update. Sharks are in the playoffs. That's good news. They got one more game against the Kings. So the Sharks could finish in third spot, or they could finish in the seventh spot, or they could finish in the eighth spot. So they don't know where they're going to, what spot they're going to finish in. But they are in the postseason, so that's good news, and we wish the Sharks good luck.
How about him?
So Jesus Montero with a one-out single. That is the 13th hit for Seattle tonight. Two of those belong to the hitter Kyle Seager. Seen De Los Santos be really dominant at times, and then occasionally he'll have an outing where things spin out of control a little bit. If he could just tighten things up a little bit, he could be a terrific relief pitcher.
Just standpoint of consistency, just follow through, just let everything go. It's Brandon League, even without a save opportunity. He is the closer. He is getting ready to pitch the ninth inning.
Coco comes in, he's under it, and he's got it for out number 2.
Fans, you want to have a Kurt Suzuki on your wall at home? 7,500 kids will receive a Fathead Cling of the A's catcher, presented by Comerica Bank, when the A's host the Cleveland Indians Friday, April the 20th. For more information and tickets, go to oaklandathletics.com/tickets. It's a big weekend with the reunion of the 72 World Championship team, the first Bay Area World Championship team, the first of 3 consecutive world titles for the A's. Gene Tennis, the MVP of the 72 World Series, throughout the ceremonial first pitch tonight. Gino, home runs in his first 2 World Series at bats in Cincinnati.
Line drive. Donaldson puts the glove out. He's got it, side retired. So Miguel Olivo lines out. Donaldson's hand maybe smarting just a bit. Ninth inning. 7-3. The Mariners lead the A's. It is the bottom of the 9th inning. So new pitcher for the Mariners, Brandon Lee. And it's time for change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change, tune-up, and Smog expert. So there is Brandon Lee. His numbers from last year, good enough for him to make an all-star team for the first time. So Brandon Lee had a nice year last year with the 37 saves.
Great split finger fastball, and of course a live fastball. You mentioned 8 days since the Mariners and the A's have actually played, this being the opener, so forget about save or no save situation. He's there to try to finish the game for the Mariners.
Well, I wouldn't say he's not necessarily a real strikeout pitcher. He's got a real good sinker and he throws pretty hard. Toward right center, Saunders got a nice jump. He tracks it down. Josh Donaldson is retired. He's 0 for 4. 1 out here in the 9th inning.
Now batting,
So that'll bring up the first baseman, Kia Kaihue.
number 25, Hila Howie.
What was that? Kaya Howie.
He's probably saying it right, and I'm probably saying it wrong.
Kila Kahui. How? How you say?
One for 3 tonight for Kaihue. Good swing there, fouled it back. I bet come trade deadline time, and that's a long ways away, but I bet Brandon League's name gets thrown around a lot because he is going to be a free agent at the end of the 2012 season. Pretty good arm. A's post-game live coming up right after the ball game. Dave Benz, Shooty Babbitt at the ballpark is there. Do the show from down on the field. So stick around for that. Hit hard into right field, the base hit. Kaihue is 2 for 4. So now you just have the motto, Ray, do not make the final out. Cliff Pennington steps in. Pennington does not have a hit tonight. He's grounded out, struck out, and flied out. 3 for 12. Open up the season. In the first couple games in Tokyo, Pennington was hitting second in the lineup. But I think the swings of Josh Reddick maybe had Bob Melvin thinking about moving Reddick up. And with Pennington down, you still have the 3 switch hitters in a row, but it's at 9, 1, and 2 with Pennington, Weeks, and Crisp.
Well, I think going into spring training, kind of everybody expected that's the way it would be. But Pennington had such a great spring that Bob Melvin decided to leave him second, which he did the first 2 games, and had 3 switch hitters at the top, but still trying to find out what his lineup is going to be. He's not happy right now with the way this game is going.
Pennington hits a fly ball toward left. Figgins to his left. He's got it, and that's out number 2. So it's up to Jemile Weeks.
Second baseman, number 19, Jemile Weeks.
Got to keep this game going. The A's are close to losing the home opener for the 8th consecutive year. good night for Jamal Weeks as he is 2 for 4. He singled in the first, he singled in the 8th, and he has scored a run. And with Kaihue off and running, Weeks fouls it to the left side. Colon and Hernandez tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, Comcast Sportsnet Plus. Weeks has also struck out and grounded out tonight. And there's that splitter, 85 miles an hour, so it's throwing fairly hard. Lots of downward movement. There's Felix Hernandez. Jason Vargas in front. He's 1 out away from his first victory of the year.
Ted Walsh right there, a longtime Bay Area guy. Worked for the 49ers and Cleveland Indians and now the Seattle Mariners. Chatting with the Bay Area roots and the good guys.
0-2 pitch is grounded hard toward Ackley, and that should do it. Ackley flips to first. Weeks is retired, and so are the A's in the 9th, and the Seattle Mariners on the home opener here at the Coliseum beat the Athletics by a final score of 7-3. Vargas gets the win, and McCarthy takes the loss. So the A's fall to 1-2 for the Seattle Mariners so far this year. So Vargas pitched well. The A's really couldn't get a whole lot going outside of the Cespedes home run. And the Mariners win it. So Seattle hoping to improve this year, just like the A's. Tonight, it's the Mariners who get the W. It's interesting, Ray. We talked during the game about the importance of the A's playing good defense, and then there was an error, and it ended up being 3 unearned runs onto McCarthy, and it's just something that the A's cannot do. They cannot make really a whole lot of mistakes. They just don't have that margin of error.
Well, that's the biggest thing because, and again, Cespedes made it very exciting when it came up with a couple of runners on base. One swing could have made it a 1-run game, but the A's know, and Bob Melvin emphasized that in the spring training about playing the game the right way, not giving the extra outs, not giving up unearned runs. And we showed those statistics earlier, which are not very good when you give up that many unearned runs, because it really puts a burden on the pitching staff and the ball club in general when the errors are made. And of course, not as bad as last year. 5 errors opening night here at the Coliseum against the Mariners, and helped them get off to a horrible start for the season. But it's just one of those things that you have a ball hit to you, you need to catch it because you cannot afford to give up the unearned runs.
The A's have seen a lot of Jason Vargas. I think he made 5 starts against them last year, 2 already this year. He's got pretty good stuff, and he has usually pitched well against the A's, and he did tonight.
Well, the changeup is the biggest pitch for him, and again, he'll throw it any time to lefties or righties. Then he throws a sneaky fastball, but I think the one thing that you have to think about is just going opposite field with him, especially with the changeup. There's the 3-2 changeup to Cliff Pennington. I think that says it all, just because he will throw it any time, and all he has to do is get it close to the plate with the same arm delivery out of the same slot. And again, Tommy Malone, we'll see him Monday night, same type of pitch, and I think everybody's going to be happy to watch him.
In the 4th inning, we did have some excitement. Yoenis Cespedes, a long home run. They said 462 feet above the luxury suites out in center field, and boy, it was a shot, Ray. He is so strong.
Well, watch Vargas, because he watched Cespedes, but this was no doubt a crushed baseball. And again, people talked about batting practice, hitting them. Dallas Braden, don't hurt your shoulder with a handshake or a slam. But that was the long one. And I remember talking to Ariel Prieto yesterday, because Cespedes again doesn't speak English. I said, let him know that the ball does not carry that well at nighttime. Well, he just changed that. Forget it. I'm sure when he said Frio, forget it. There's no cold weather for Cespedes to hit him that far.
Well, we said during the exhibition season, Ray, there are times when he's going to chase pitches out of the strike zone. Every hitter does that, but when guys make mistakes, and we've seen it already, even with the 3 regular season games and the exhibition games, when pitchers do make mistakes, hang something out there or something out over the plate, boy, he rips it. So he will make guys pay.
Well, and he's just going to learn, even get better and better, just because he does not know anybody, any of the pitchers. Granted, he's seen Vargas. He'll see Felix got his first major league hit against him in Tokyo, but a lot of times it's better just try to see ball, hit ball, and so far that's what he's done.
Well, we got a good pitching matchup tomorrow night. It'll come your way at 6 o'clock. It'll be on Comcast Sportsnet Plus. It'll be Felix Hernandez Bartolo Colon. They both pitched well in that series in Tokyo. Colon was terrific. He got the win in the second game. So Colon, Hernandez, again, tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, and you'll see it on Comcast Sportsnet Plus. So Felix Hernandez, 3 times in the first 8 games, the A's are going to face Felix Hernandez. They'll see him again next Friday in the Mariners home opener. Not really fair, but you know what? They always put on a pretty good battle for Felix Hernandez, even though he is terrific. Well,
I think, as Bartolo Colon said, he just won't give up any hits or runs to the Mariners, so they make it tough. Figure how the bullpens are going to go, but Bartolo did that in Tokyo against Vargas, the game that he pitched extremely well, 8 innings to get the win, and I think picked up 500,000 yen.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. Yen. And but he's good, and I think young pitchers and pitchers in general can learn a lot from Bartolo Colon because he's definitely that good. It should be a good matchup, and of course the A's could see Felix Hernandez 7 times this year, as we mentioned. They'll definitely see him tomorrow night and next Friday.
So once again, the final score tonight from the O.co Coliseum, the home opener, it's the Seattle Mariners beat the Oakland A's by a final score of 7-3. You've been watching Oakland A's baseball on Comcast Sportsnet, part of the NBC Sports Crew. A's postgame live coming up.